Welcome back to the TDE Pod. I got the boys back on again. We're going to continue last week's failure on my
abruptly interrupted.
The Lost Files.
We will get to that. We teased it at the top of the episode, so we will get to Dan's local stories and possibly some more.
Yes.
Maybe.
Trying to make it a thing, I guess, on the pod. Let's start with how was your week in Yu-Gi-Oh, Dan?
I didn't play much.
Yeah.
I think the last time I played was at the recording. Really, I think. I'm excited to play again. I have been busy, so I haven't had a chance to play much. So I'm excited to keep playing.
You cleansed the sins of the past, or
I cleansed
washed
the
away.
soul. Yes.
What about you, Stefan?
Hellish last week. Bad matchups.
Have you guys changed your decks at all? Are you running pretty much last time we spoke?
No, I've made significant changes, even since Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I changed my side a little bit and also took out a few cards in response to the format potential. I haven't had a chance to test it, so it'll all just depend on what's going to happen. So
yeah, I guess we'll see. This week I didn't play in our usual Sunday because I was out of town, but I played on Tuesday at a different store than I normally do.
Yes.
And it's interesting. I think we'll touch on this a little bit later.
Yeah.
But our store has a lot of characters, more so than any other store that I've noticed.
Okay.
Maybe not if you go to a different city and you go to their, Yu-Gi-Oh store.
Yeah.
They might have just as many characters, and I'm sure listeners will probably have characters at their stores too. But our store in particular seems to get the most characters. The guys I played against were characters in their own right, but less write home about characters.
Yeah.
Just, normal, some of them are shitty guys and other ones is, pretty normal guys. But it was just interesting to, not have a guy, hover 2 inches above your cards.
Did you find that, the decks you saw were a little bit, different too? Or, you just wouldn't see stuff that you would see at our store?
No. I actually felt like it was more, they showed up to win, they showed up to play, it wasn't just hey, I'm going to try this thing out.
It was actually competitive.
More meta.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, more meta, but that's because it was a smaller event too. So I figured the people who are going there, and there was some guys who were at our store usually too, but I figure it's because it's a smaller event, you get less weird decks, obviously.
Yeah.
But the people who are going to go to those smaller events are probably going to be playing more of the meta strategies anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did not do well. So, but it was good. I actually enjoyed not doing well, which sounds weird.
Yeah.
Because we have a regional coming up this coming weekend.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure I'm playing the best list I can in order to succeed there. So, I think last time we spoke, I had just gone X1 at our usual local. And this time I went X2 in 3 rounds. So 1 win, 2 losses. And my first loss was to a Fire King player.
Oh.
Who was playing the Jirak Fire King build.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool build. I like that Fire King staying relevant.
Yeah.
But holy shit. If Draco Tail's best asset is the grind game, it's going to lose to that Fire King deck where it's the grind in that is crazy. I was so shocked how well it kept up.
Well, I saw one of regionals recently, Fire King Drak, that deck.
Same thing.
So, I mean, it's making a comeback.
Yeah. It's good. It's it's not as volatile as maybe they were planning the Drak cards to be, big bomb, Nib-esque card in the Meteor. But pairing that with the Fire Kings that just have so much recursion, I was struggling to gain advantage in either of our games. So then, I ended up just giving it because we are getting close to time, and it's there's no way I can come back from this. But that let me know, and hopefully no one who's watching this will be at a regional. I started playing 3 Draco Tail traps.
Yeah.
Just because when the guy would nuke my board, if I wasn't able to recycle one of the traps, I was toast. Then I lost all my grind game. So, and a couple other hand traps have made it into the main deck now. Just that graveyard stuff is so big, but Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely have a big decompression pod next week after the regional. A few of us are heading down. You guys are not going to make it though.
No, not this time.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. We'll do a whole pod about the results of that. But obviously, we're going to get back to the experience you had at locals. Now, Stefan, you have something to add to that as well.
There will be adding.
So stay tuned for that because that is going to be spicy. But we are now just after another YCS has occurred. So last time we spoke was about Triff winning Lima, the results of Lille we touched on a little bit.
Yep.
And now we have YCS Anaheim. So it should be noted too, at this YCS was the first Genesis Invitational.
Yep.
So our first real insight to what the meta for Genesis is shaping up to be.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you guys want to touch on first? Do you want to touch on the TCG or Genesis?
Let's talk about the main event.
Okay.
Yeah.
So main event was won by Kamal Crooks. I think this is his 4th or 5th win.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something like that.
He's won a lot.
Yeah. Great player. He was playing 41 cards. Crystron K9. So this is a deck that got hit on the ban list.
Yep.
It was a low rarity deck, very budget friendly, minus the K9 stuff, which was very expensive at the time. But if you think about just having to buy the K9 engine, probably set you back maybe $200 at the time, if that. Zunas were like 50 Canadian.
Yeah.
So not bad as a budget deck, and it's cool to see a budget deck, and again in quotations, succeed. This is a deck we're all unfortunately familiar with by way of Andre.
Yes.
And he pilots it very well, but obviously this is one of the best players ever piloting this deck to a spectacular finish. But that is very much up for debate, the way the YCS ended. Josh Schmidt put out a video, I think just earlier today at the time of our recording, talking about the potential problems with our current format. So I know you guys had a chance to watch that video.
Yep.
What are your thoughts? I guess, Dan, we'll start with you on the list itself and what we saw in the finals of the YCS.
I mean, the list looks like a regular, Crystron K9 deck that you would see.
There's the Mjolnir tech.
Yes, that I think is the one new added spice. I think it really I watched some of the streamed games, and I know Joshua Smith talked about it too, in that this was one of the worst YCSs to watch. Yeah, because a lot of the games were just who, like I said in our chat, who can floodgate first. Yeah, and it was I think it creates a very dangerous state for Yu-Gi-Oh! In that you have all these players who are really good, like he said in the video. These players who, if you're watching them play against each other without these weird floodgate techs, they're going to give you a really fun match, a hype game where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he pulled that card. He managed to do that. He managed to play through this hand trap or this. Instead, it's become, I'm going to put out a floodgate and that's my turn one. And then someone scoops the next turn. And it's become who's going to hit the floodgate first? Who's going to be able to stop their opponent from playing? Because it's no longer... Like he said, it's you're seeing a lot more non-turn games where it's just who's gonna we're just gonna see who can play solitaire best, and who can get a unbeatable card on the field because it's unhit again on a ban list where it needs to be dealt with. And even in the video he said look at Genesis format. You look at the cost at some of those floodgate cards. They know they're a problem. They're not dumb. They know that these cards are a problem, and they've dealt with it by being hey, you can play them, but your whole deck has to cost 0. Yes. If you want to play this one anti-spell fragment or one D-shifter or one, well, D-shifter's not as hit obviously, but I'm trying to think of another Fissure, any of the flood
rivalry,
whatever. I think even there can only be one is at 100 points too. It's those cards that are those floodgate cards that say to your opponent, nope, sorry, you don't get to play the game. I get to play the game. And it's they know they're a problem. And they're not going to deal with it because why would they? But
that's the part I don't understand.
Yeah.
Right. Because, and who knows? I think there's probably 2 different teams that are working on.
That's what I wanted to say too.
Yeah.
The ban list for the TCG and even in the OCG, but especially TCG versus Genesis. Like you said, they've identified them. At least one of those teams has identified them as an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what I don't get is keeping those floodgates around doesn't promote the game.
Yeah.
Like Josh in this video touched on this too. Like those cards are like they're not like user friendly or like new user friendly.
No. Yeah.
Like you said, when you watch a game like that, it's hard to really, if you're new to the game, could like understand what's actually happening. You watch a guy do his turn, like, okay, I don't really understand this combo, but he's doing it. It must be legal. And then the other guy goes, yeah, you got it. And then they shuffle their cards again. It's like, we talked about this in the first episode of this podcast when the guy quit his Blue Eyes deck.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about like new players struggling and, you know, the inability to sometimes, like what are you trying to get out of the game in that, like, if you just want to build a board and then the other guys scoop into it, maybe at the highest level, like a YCS is, that feels good.
Yeah.
Because both players are understanding that it doesn't matter how long I play out trying to break this board, I will lose. I just don't have an out to this particular setup, which is fair. Mm-hmm. At the highest level, there's an understanding of that. But that's pretty shitty gameplay-wise.
Yeah.
Maybe if you do it once, it feels pretty good. But if every game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that way, then we're not, like you said, we're not playing the game. But I'll pass it to you, Stefan. What were your thoughts?
Most of the same as what Daniel said. It just kind of feels like what started off as being like a really optimistic format has really changed into, like you said, just like either you draw the card that just ends the game for the other player, or you kind of force a game state where you're playing so hesitantly because you don't want to make a card like Thrust Live for a card like D-Berry, for example. Mm-hmm. And that just ends your game in another way. Like it promotes such a weird play style now, which when it was, for example, like an Azuna that you're worried about running into by using a hand trap or something, that was promoting gameplay because that's just a deck responding. But now it's like you're creating a game state where you can't respond after this has now happened. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to sum it up. Is it's just like, and it's actually kind of confusing to me in like how we went from such a rich format gameplay wise to what we currently have. Mm-hmm. In that, like, even creators like Josh, and you know, he said this himself, like he was so excited by the last format. I think part of that is playing a deck like Dracotail, and I don't say this just because I play the deck, but the deck plays low to the ground. Mm-hmm. In that, like, the interactions it puts up are not game breaking. There's no Omni Negate. There's a spell pop. There's a spell negate. There's a monster negate. But the timing of those interactions encourages gameplay. I have to wait for you to summon the thing or activate the card that summons the thing for me to go Femena, send Malulu so I can negate your monster on summon.
Absolutely.
I have to do something. Mm-hmm. I can't just flip up a card and go, no, you can't actually do that.
Yeah, and I think it also depends on who's playing it, because there are like Dracotail players who play the like branded engine in it who are like that I've played against, who are going to use the Sanctifier to put a card on my field that says, "Oh, you can't play the game anymore," and it's like, I know you have it in yours, but it's still like. Because that's just, again, that's where it's just who's gonna get the because Mitsurugi has the dinosaur. I don't fucking remember the name of that thing.
Oh, Pachycephalus.
Yeah, it has that, right? Crystron now has the Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Dracotail, if they're playing the branded, has the whatever the Shadal or the Drago. The Drago one.
Yeah,
like it's
Drago,
all these,
but it's also the Sanctifier thing is Spirit with Eyes of Blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's ways. It's essentially, again, who can get the first thing that stops your game out, right? It doesn't feel like you're playing against anybody anymore.
Then we're just rolling dice.
And then that's where I mean, where it's like it's very dangerous format we're heading into, where if this is becoming the new thing, it's gonna really hit a lot of players who are gonna be like, I'm just gonna go play Genesis, because I'm just gonna go and have a much better time.
That's the scary thing, right?
Yeah.
And that was one of my takeaways, not just from Josh's video, but from this weekend as a whole, in that we've gone from a format again that was praised as being like, you know, a revitalization of the game, right? When you have the triangle format between Draco Tail, Yummy, and Canine.
Mm-hmm.
That feels good in that like every game has its own narrative and interactions, and nothing is like as straightforward as like, you know, say a Malice combo, let's say, or a Malice end board where it's like, okay, I know everything, and I know if I don't have enough pushes, I can't break this board. Let's go to next. I'm just shocked, honestly, that like I don't think Doom of Dimension gave so much that it, like you could point to it and be like, oh, the release of these new cards is why the format has shifted so drastically. Like I just don't see that. I say maybe you could say that in the case of the big Yummy Mitsurugi wave that's currently happening, because you have Marshmallow, which means you play less of like Lollipo and Cookie. But I guess it makes that part of the engine more consistent because Marshmallow on itself is a good starter.
Yeah.
But this transition, and we joked about it last time too, of Triff going like, hand traps, you're behind if you're not playing 20 hand traps, to like, you got to play 17 board breakers.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously he's had success in both of the YCSs, most recent one. So it's just bizarre that like we've so quickly shifted from like what was a healthy game state to this now, just like, you know, be the first guy, roll well,
Yeah.
and floodgate.
Yep.
So, like it sucks. It's just shitty.
Yeah, it's really unhealthy for the game. And I think you said it like we were in the car, and you're just like, it's funny how the killing of Vanquish Soul was the thing that
a load-bearing archetype.
that sent this into a fucking spiral of like, I'm gonna get my thing that stops you from playing your game first. Because then it's just might as well just play rock paper scissors and just say, okay, can you beat mine? No, okay, let's just go to game 2. And especially with the like the overbearing fear of time now, where it's like you gotta be like, okay, let's just go to game 2, or let's just go to game 3, because you're just not worth playing into the board. Like I think again in Triff's game where he set up this big, the guy set up this big board, and Triff was like, I'm just gonna, he couldn't play into it because it had
and even being a top 8 match where there's no time. Yeah, he was even like, this is not worth it.
Yeah, like in the final to just be like, we're just gonna scoop. Like, that shows you how unhealthy the format is, and it's like that's a bad. And then now again, when I think people have said it before, when Droll is becoming a mainstay in the your main deck, you know it's a bad format. Yeah,
I mean, I feel two ways about that. Like, I'm very much of like I recognize Droll as a problem. Yeah. For combo decks, but combo decks are a problem for everyone. Yes. You know, it's that fucking meme of like, it's a shame the White Forest main at our locals is a really good guy. You know, it's like, I White Forest should get to play, but like I have to play Droll because I'm not losing the Mitsurugi. Like, so
you just said something that I think that is inherently tied to this Droll problem, because both times it's been Mitsurugi.
Yeah.
And it went unhit. Well, the bridge between Ryziel and Mitsurugi went unhit, but the deck itself went unhit on the last ban list.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, because I can't remember, one of the guys was saying, I think it was Raid was saying, why is Mitsurugi pure, or Mitsurugi become so popular again? Because we saw it with Ryziel, then we got Justice Hunters, and it quickly dwindled the amount of people who were playing Mitsurugi, or even at least the amount of people who are converting into, you know, top placement success with it. Like we saw that at YCS Vancouver, that, you know, I don't think there might have been one Ryziel Mitsu player in the top 16, if memory serves. But now, like, nothing has happened to that deck. Like you say, it wasn't hit at all. But now it's like, oh, you got to, like, it's one of the better decks. It's like, we could pull up the numbers here, but the conversion numbers for Mitsurugi is the highest amongst all decks right now. So it's really interesting that, like, I think a bit of it was it released in the OCG, and, you know, people are looking at the list people are putting together here and say, oh, I can do that here. I'll just play pure. But it was always an option. So it's interesting to see how powerful it is now. But a thing you said, like, they killed the bridge between Ryziel and Mitsurugi, but they didn't kill the bridge between anything else in Mitsurugi.
Well, yeah, and like it's playable in Yummy, and I don't know, I haven't looked at what the connection between them is.
Like Herald of the Arclight. There's a few cards that can bridge you. Okay. But in the big pile ones, it's just like you just play. You have your yummy shit, and then you have pre-prep.
Yeah, it's
and,
like it's Fiendsmith splashable engine kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
Well, and I just don't understand, like, and I think again, Joshua Schmidt said in his video, it goes back to card design where it's like, why wasn't there clear like limits in locks into like this archetype that's so strong?
Yeah,
and it's a
could like easily said you can only summon reptiles.
Literally, you literally just had to put that one thing, right? And then it makes it so that you have to play it as a ritual reptile deck.
Yeah. See, and we talked about this a bit, like with Fiendsmith too. Now, I kind of get hesitant there because historically, I'm a Tellarknight player. There's so many goddamn restrictions on those cards that it makes it hard to splash it in another engine, which means the only way to play that deck to its best ability is to play pure. And so you sacrifice a lot when you try to supplement it with anything that's not Constellar. It's just not ideal. But in no way, shape, or form do I think Tellarknights would be broken if they didn't have those restrictions on it. It's just Rizio, but a little slower. Tellarknights get new support. That's all going to change. I'm going to wipe everybody. It's not a big deal right now. But,
right.
You know, for the last 10, 15 years, it's been unplayable.
Yes.
So, I don't know. With Fiendsmith, I do like an engine that you can put in any deck and kind of raise the power level. But I think there has to be limits to it.
Yeah, like I think Fiendsmith, now that its moon has been hit, it kind of forces it. You have to play it into a deck that will work with it. Like you have to have access to Exciton Knight, or like that's your Light Fiend, right?
Yeah, or you have to play hard Fiendsmith ratios.
Yes. Yeah. Like I think Fiendsmith is. Well, I think it was always kind of in a healthy spot, like too. Like I definitely was annoyed when I saw it because you'd like try to stop a main engine, then be like, okay, I'm just going to Fiendsmith combo. Like it was annoying, but it wasn't an impossibly hard mountain to get over.
No.
Like there's decks now where it just feels like you said, you just look at it and you're like, I don't really want to play. Like I don't want to deal with this. Like this is not like if you are just staring down the barrel of a like we talked about last time, you're staring down a Caesar, you're like, okay, I can play around this.
Yes.
Like this is not impossible to play, even if maybe they have another Omni Negate on the field. You can try to break that board.
Yeah.
It almost feels like it's harder now if you just don't have the cards, or you need like very specific like situational cards to stop a floodgate that someone has put up. Like if you get hit with a Mjolnir on your side, you're like, okay, well now I can't summon anything but artifacts for 2 turns.
So here's the thing. Okay, so cards like that have hard locks, like lingering effects. This is always a problem in Yu-Gi-Oh! Lingering floodgates.
Yeah.
Like Droll, like Shifter, to a certain extent, like Called by the Grave.
Yep.
Where I activate this card now, it's going to impact you, not as long as it's on the field or in grave or in hand or whatever, an interactable area. Just because I activated it, now you can't do this for this long.
Yeah.
I think that's shitty card design.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
If a card says you can't target this, you could play around that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's ways to get around it, but it says you can't do this. I've activated this card. You're not allowed to send cards to the graveyard. Or I banished your card from grave. You cannot activate it for another turn. So if I go Fey Meta on your turn and you called by me, I lose my turn too. Cards like D-Barrier. Like you just can't summon the main monster in your deck because I've activated this card.
Yeah.
I hate these type of effects, right?
Yep.
The Mjolnir one doesn't bug me as much because you have to commit to that. At the very least, this is a brick you're playing that can resolve. It's the same with the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. It's a bridge card essentially for Draco Tail to get into spheres. But if you're able to then on the next turn resolve a branded fusion, because you wouldn't be able to on that turn, and then summon it to their side, like that is a line you can see coming and play around.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes you might not have the resources, but that's the game.
Yeah.
You have a chance. What I don't like is, okay, you're on Mitsu and I'm playing Rizio and we both side in D-Barrier and you call XYZ and I call Ritual and it's just like, okay, let's go to turns 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But again, it's always going to be beneficial for the player who went first, who gets that first battle phase, right?
Yes. Yep.
So You know, there's all these other games, Summoning Sickness and stuff like that. I'm not advocating for anything like that, but you don't really need a game-breaking change. You just need to get rid of these like problematic cards.
Yeah.
Even a card like Tikaboo, right? In my opinion, feels more balanced than something like Gozen Match or like Rivalry of the Warlords, because those floodgates like award you for playing like a mono type or mono attribute deck, which is most decks.
Or the opposite, where you're playing like every kind of type or attribute, which is like,
but
that's why it works in Vanquish Soul, because they're playing every single different type. Yeah.
But like there's certain things you sacrifice for playing either a deck or specifically an archetype, less so an archetype, but a deck that has to play multiple different types over multiple different attributes. Something like when I was playing Voiceless Voice, I could play one copy of Tikaboo because I'd have a warrior, maybe a dragon, and a fairy on board. That doesn't feel good for the opponent, because not only do you have to get through my Omni Negate that has 4,000 attack, and now you can only summon one type of thing. And so when you're playing, you know, a mono deck, you don't get that option. You can't even get to your bridge to make fucking Havakiri or whatever, because I won't even let you get that far. I don't know, like, maybe this is beating a dead horse, but like, why the fuck are these cards still in the game? Like, it just, in something like Genesis, those high point totals make sense. Because you can base your whole strategy on a monotype, mono attribute, and then sure, go ahead, play Gozen, play Rivalry, play one of them. These unsearchable cards that like you have to draw. And at that point, I just hate that feeling too. When a card's at 1 and it's such a swing card, then it's taking like the skill out of the game. It's just like, if you drew it, you win. If your opponent drew it out, they win. But it's taking like the strategy out of the game. It's just like, oh, I really hope I draw a Called By because I lose to Fua right now, or I lose to Ash. I don't know. Like, that kind of game design just sits so poorly with me. And like, if you just got rid of these cards, we wouldn't have this problem. But like, who benefits from these cards besides like a Mitsu player who doesn't need the extra help? Like,
I can play D-Shifter. I can play D-Shifter.
I was saying it down on the way over here too, that Barrier is the weirdest one out of all of them too. Why is that still a 3?
Well, I think what makes it worse. Sorry, I didn't mean to, but I think what makes it worse is it's a searchable floodgate, right?
So you can play 6 copies of it basically.
Like Tikaboo's not as bad because it's a one of and it's a continuous. You cannot search it. You have to draw it. But like,
dude, honestly, that makes it worse.
Like the
sack. I think it makes it worse because when it happens, you're like, oh my god, this is the one card.
You drew it. Okay, I lose.
But I think what feels worse is the decks that have now found a way to search their floodgate. Like, oh, I can, like with the Mitsurugi using Gallant Grant to search their normal summon, because they're not going to normal summon. That's their normal summon is, oh, I'm going to floodgate you now. Or Crystron Canine being able to search their floodgate. Like, that's what makes this worse, because it's like, oh, it's not just the luck of the heart of the cards. I drew the one card that like is a one of. It's, oh, I have like different ways that I can search this floodgate card. Or like I can thrust into D-Barrier. Like you said, you're playing 6 copies of Dimension, like D-Barrier, really, when you think about it. So
I find them to be like a relic of a time long past. Like, back in the day, say we're talking like GOAT format, even probably like pre-Edison format, pre-archetypes, right? Because even at a time when like Dark World was a thing, which is like one of like the first archetypes that was competitive and cohesive as an archetype. If you were playing, say, Rivalry or Gozen Match, that gave you such a crazy advantage on any other deck at that time, which is insane to me. Like, it's at that point where we start introducing these archetypes that are like, again, monotype, mono attribute. It's like, okay, it's no longer like an interesting deck building tech to make mono strategies. There's a certain time, like Go format, or like, you know, the formats that followed shortly thereafter, where like, if you committed to having monotype, mono attribute decks, that was a choice. There's a lot of cards that would help and you know, play into your strategy, but that was like off the beaten path. Most decks at that time were like piles. good stuff pile with, Dark Arm Dragon and shit. Like,
yeah.
And that would be the payout. You get Dark Arm Dragon because you're playing all darks.
Yeah.
Like, that made sense.
Yep.
Or, like, you get Christia because you're playing all fairies.
Yep.
Now, I think the inverse of that is good card design, which is like Dominus Impulse and like mostly all the Dominus cards.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, if you don't play these cards, now you get to play these other cards.
Yep.
And that sounds familiar because that is the whole idea of Genesis. You don't get to play these archetypal cards that are crazy for your deck. You can play every other card. You can even play Pot of Greed, but you can't play that.
Yeah.
That would be unfair. Recognizing that and doing nothing about it in the premium version of the game is insanity. Yep. Like, I just don't understand what they think it accomplishes to keep those cards playable. Like, and I think there's kind of a combative thing in the community about this topic where it's like, oh yeah, you're just mad because you're losing to a floodgate. And it's like, yeah,
you're right.
Yeah,
I am. I'm upset. Like,
but I think there's floodgates that work, and I think you can speak on this because I think your like Mimighoul deck, and I know I've complained many times to you about it.
It's very interesting.
In that it's very interesting. I think your floodgate is not a unfair floodgate. It's still floodgates, but you can get around it and you can play around it much easier because it's almost like a floodgate that you choose to enter. Like, you're like, oh, I can either stay in the state of not being able to normal summon, or I can flip up the cards and continue playing. But if I do that, I'm giving you like resources. But you can play.
Well, the thing on my end too is that I have to work to keep that floodgate active. I don't just set a card and play it and sit back and relax. I have to get the card on your field, have dungeon on field, and then if you flip it, if I don't have anything to reinitiate that lock, now I'm just sitting with my thumb in my ass. Like, I don't have anything to do.
But yeah, it's because it's not a lingering floodgate. It's a floodgate that it's like a light switch where it like flicks on, where it's like, oh, it's on because you have a face down card. Okay, you get rid of the face down card, it's off.
It's legitimately interesting because, like you said, you have to weigh the options. I can flip this Mimighoul Archfiend, but I'm giving him a draw and I'm nagging a card. That sucks. And I'm giving the body back, right? But I need my normal summon.
Yes.
So I'm willing to make this trade.
Yeah, but it's like it feels like you're actually playing a puzzle game, like the card game where you're like, I have to figure out how to get out of this floodgate, rather than this you don't get to play. Sorry, I'm not going to let you play. Yeah, like it's very different.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan, in that like I don't think I even think the term floodgate is probably used a little too freely. Like, I don't see something like Mimighoul Dungeon as a floodgate. It's a continuous effect. Like, yes, it does, in that same sense, stop your opponent from doing something continuously. Yeah. Unless they deal with it. But it's different when it's like, I know you're on Mitsu. If I flip any card that means you can't play, more than one reptile, good luck. Like, it's just, it doesn't feel, like you say, it doesn't feel like you're playing the game. It feels like a guy got a lucky draw, and I lose because of it, which that's obviously part of our game. Like, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! After all. Like, the whole thing about the show is top decking something crazy. Yeah. But, like, top decking, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! The show wouldn't have been exciting if it was just like, I try to summon Relinquish, and Yugi's just like, I flip deep. It's like, oh, okay, I guess you got it, buddy.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel very skillful, right? Like, it's just like a luck of that you happen to be able to get the floodgate out to stop it, right? Like, and like even the final match where it's like, they didn't have much like hand traps to interrupt that turn, which sucks when that happens. But like being able to play through just one hand trap to still make a full board and then put up the floodgate as well, like that just doesn't feel good. Yeah. Like, it's not it's again, like you've said many times, you don't want to watch your opponent play solitaire for like 20 minutes and you sit there and go, oh yeah, it's good. Yep. It's good.
Yeah. It's interesting too. Another Will shout out on the podcast. Like the perception that hand traps ruin the game, right? Because a lot of, legacy players, we'll call them, that's their opinion. Yeah. Right? As soon as you started to be able to interact with me on my turn, now it's less fun for me because I don't get to do what I want to do. That makes sense when your normal summon set one pass. Yeah. Not when you fucking 25-step combo tutorial video in the finals of a YCS. It's very different.
Yeah.
That's where you realize, hand traps are very necessary.
Absolutely.
It promotes gameplay. I have to decide where to ash to get the best value to put you on a half board because I can crack your half board with my engine. When you don't have to make those decisions, just like, he had it. Fucking,
well, yeah.
What are we doing?
Like seeing this YCS and like it really just like you said, it makes hand traps like you gotta play them. Like and they're not only it sucks when the one thing that you need to resolve gets ashed.
Sure.
But it's way worse to see a floodgate that you can't stop. Yeah,
I would rather play my card and have it negated than be told I cannot play my card.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because it's all these like ancient floodgates, anti-spell, goes in match, rivalry, secret village, like all these cards that are like, they're ancient, man. They're like 20 years old. Like there's no reason. Skill drain is another one where it's like, there are some interesting applications for skill drain, like Cleaford era, where it's like, because my monsters are, their effect means that I can, normal summon them as I normally would, even though it's a level 8 or whatever. Now I negate its effect. Its attack goes back up to 24 instead of 14 or whatever. Yeah. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Like, and by playing skill drain, I'm now locking you out of all your effects. But it's like there's so many, like skill drain feels even more balanced than some of these other floodgates because it's easier to out. Yeah. I can still, normal summon Pankratops, pop it and pop the skill drain. Like, it's fine. Like, it's whatever. Like, there's cards that you can play that then make like the side deck and the meta game interesting. Because like, I have to out skill drain. But when it's like, I gotta out anti-spell fragrance and I'm playing Sky Striker, I fucking lose. Like, there's nothing I can do. You know, like, it's just bizarre to me that like, I don't know whose decision it would be or what the collective decision making is with these floodgates, but it's truly bizarre in that like you have such like a praised format. Like, and it's so annoying because this happens every time. When you get a triangle format, people are like, holy fuck, Yu-Gi-Oh's fun. Yep. And then something won't get addressed, or you'll get a ban list that hits one of 3 decks, which lets the other 2 run rampant, which is not what I think happened here, to be honest. But it's just weird that like the cycle continues to repeat, and it's not one that's going to make them more money. If that was the case, it would make a lot more sense to me. And like, we have to hit these decks that came out in Justice Hunters because we got whatever the fucking new one is, Burst Protocol or Phantom Revenge. Yeah. Like, we got to sell you these cards. Sure. If it's going to be an interesting format with these 3 new decks, sign me up. I don't care. But when it's like, we're not going to ban these cards that are going to ruin this format. Maybe it goes back to like the age-old thing of like, I don't know who the fuck they have playtesting for them, but it's clear that these guys are not dialed, like
they're too nice. They're too nice.
Not even. They're not good at the game.
Or they just, it just like, how out of touch are you with your community? People, because I've talked to many people at locals. People have been calling for like the ban of lingering floodgates for, I know, forever.
As long as any of us have been playing,
and it's like,
it's always a conversation.
Why are you not like? I get that you don't want to just like ban things because people are asking for it. I get that. But how are you not looking at the state of your game and saying like, we need to make an emergency ban list and get rid of these cards because this is going to turn off a lot of people from wanting to play advanced format, especially when you now have this new format that's so appealing in that like it makes it so that those cards you're not going to see those cards. Yeah. Like the fact that you can play 3, like, and this is obviously not a very commonly played card unless you're playing that, but like Secret Village of Spellcasters, you can play it at 3 and no problem. It's 100 points in Genesis format, and like it's like, what? You're never gonna see that in the TGC because no one plays that unless they're obviously playing a specific spellcaster deck.
The way it's set up, you can't play that card and terraforming. You can't play that card and metaverse. So the only way to get to that card is drawing it, which again, if that's what you want to bank your strategy on, that's fine. Now, the difference is when they're searchable, lingering floodgates like barrier. Not so much with the continuous traps, but even then, it's kind of like when it's in the TCG, it's just like, I don't know. It feels very like in bad faith to the community to address the problem in one format, and because I guess like what message is it sending?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, oh, because this is the premium format, these are things you have to deal with? But in my mind, the premium format, the winners of those events should be decided by skill.
Yes.
Like commitment to the game, like testing, like who is really, training the most to be the best at something.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you would any other competitive event. It shouldn't just be like, who's the luckiest guy? Like even poker.
Yeah.
There's elements of like, you have to be good at this. You can't just show up and hope you get a good hand.
Yeah.
Like there's strategy involved in it. And when you kind of remove that element or a big part of that element out of the game, when you have like, and no disrespect to his opponent, but when you have a guy like Triff who's like very innovative with how he approaches the game,
yep.
very particular, very like, I don't want to say narrow-minded, but like laser focused on like, I've developed a strategy. I know it works. Now I'm going to go prove it. When you have someone like that who's so committed to the game and like expands people's enjoyment of the game, when you lock that person out of playing, 2 or 3 games, how is this promoting the game at all?
Yeah.
It's honestly, yeah, like you said, it's just a shame. Like,
just on promoting the game, have you guys read the blog posts for Genesis that they've been putting out?
No, I haven't.
You should read them. It's strange because you know how TCG announcements are always very like bog standard by the board, like attention duelists, we're doing this thing and this thing is happening.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do about it.
Well, but there's no flavor or anything.
Yeah.
These blog posts are different. There's like keywords that you'll recognize from watching like Yugi tubers or something in there.
Yeah.
Like people are saying things that's like, oh, I recognize from like an MBT video that I watched or something.
Sure.
And I don't understand the disconnect. Like I don't know where the line is drawn between the two teams that are working on these two formats and if there's any crosstalk between them at all, because it really feels just like a valley of difference between these two right now.
Doesn't it feel like, say us 3 guys, we work for Konami, and we go to our superiors and we're like, we got to get rid of these things. And they're like, we'll get around to it. And then they're like, hey, we want to make a new format. We want you 3 guys to, you go, oh, great. But we have to have complete ownership over it. Yeah, whatever, man. Just make it so people stop bugging us about Edison. Then you do it. People are like, hey, this is great. I love that there was thought behind like the banning of these cards. And you have, creative control over it. That's what it says to me. And that there's a team that's passionate about the game.
And they got shuttered away.
If we had control over the TCG, this is what we would do. Here's your point totals, right? That's a way to address it without just, starting with an alternate ban list, essentially. Where it's like, yeah, you can play that card. You can play. If you really want to, if that's your favorite card, it's possible. You just got to find a way to do it, which makes it more of like, it's a deck building challenge as much as it is like a dueling challenge.
Yeah.
I feel like you kind of lose a little bit of that when you get into such high levels of the metagame in the TCG where it is better. You have a higher win rate to play these floodgates. Even though they don't encourage gameplay, they don't encourage interaction, they're not entertaining to watch, you have to play these cards so you win more. But what does that do for the game? Like, what does that do for, like, our player pool? Like, you have pro players like Josh who are like, I think I might just go play Genesis.
Yeah.
And that's great because we're promoting, like, this new format. But, like, again, it's kind of, we mentioned it, like, last week when we talked about it, like, it's a little worrying that like the premier format could be surpassed by this alternate format. Maybe that brings good changes because there's a passionate team behind it. But then at what point does the original team step back in and take control of it? And,
exactly.
Well, and yeah, it's just like, it doesn't feel fair. Like when you have the Genesis who've said like, oh, we're going to evaluate this monthly. Like we're going to look at this. They've already made one little quick change right after. They're like, oh yeah, okay, we're going to bump up these numbers. Like
that's
they did it with
wrong mechanical card.
they literally are like, oh, Holy Suit can't be 0. We're going to put it at like 10. That's fair. Like that's and like it felt very like, oh yeah, that works. Like that's a very fair like change. But like with the unknown future of, we don't know when we're gonna get another ban list. We could get one. We're probably not gonna get one next week. But like, that's what I mean, right? Now you have to sit in this format where this is the new meta of floodgate meta, where you have to wait and see when that's gonna happen. Like, it'll be interesting to see what happens when you go to regionals. If you're gonna see a whole bunch of this.
Yeah, just degenerate stuff all weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm planning for that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not preparing my deck to get more wins.
Yes.
I'd be lying, but I'd be stupid not to.
Exactly.
Because I know that's going to be that's how the meta is shaping up.
Well, and I think the important thing that Josh said was, don't blame the player, blame the design. If people are doing that, it's not their fault that these exist.
Yeah.
More power to you if you're going to do that to try and win. That's fine. If that's what you want to get out of Yu-Gi-Oh, then go for it, right? But like, Konami's got to look and be like, yeah, this isn't healthy. This is not promoting our game. We need to do something about this.
I want to know what their internal reasoning is for like these massive delays in ban lists. Like, why can't we have a faster, like a patch update? Because we got literal patch notes with Genesis. And why do we need to wait? Again,
I think it is that other team who are like, okay, if we're doing this is how we want to do it. And they're like, sure, more power to you. We don't care. But I also think like the Konami ban list for the TCG is quarterly. So innately it's tied to finance. It's tied to their release windows. It's the reason why ours was delayed, is because there's new product that was coming out. So they don't want to, if they did the ban list when they were scheduled to do it, then we would still have Vanquish Soul Canine full power with a Mitsurugi Bridge for Raizio, with all these cards that got hit that we were like, thank God. Those things would still be a problem. They would have been a problem for a long time, which they're probably calculating in some form or fashion the way they do, that would be problematic for them. They're going to have a tough time selling, Draco Tail if Malice still has 3 Dormouses.
Yep.
Now, the shitty thing is there's no way to separate, in Konami's eyes, the business from the gameplay.
Yeah.
They're a business. They're trying to make money. I think the way they release the ban list is probably the best. But we only say that. Like, I only say that because that's all we know.
Yeah.
Like, that's their only reasoning, is it comes out quarterly.
Yeah.
There's no, like, actual explanation. Like, the closest thing we got was the most recent one where it was like, hey, we're going to wait till after the World Championship. No reason. They're just like, we just want to see what happens, you know? But I'm sure a lot of that is like, oh, we have to see how Draco Tail and Yummy and K9 factor into this metagame.
Yep.
Which is why I think, and we celebrated the fact that like the Raizio boss monsters didn't get banned outright, which is a good thing. Maybe we don't get that if they kind of like panic ban lists before the World Championship, but it has put us in the situation that we're in now, where it's like, because you watched that format develop and let it run longer than it probably would have, now this format that we're in is also going to run longer than it probably should. I would love the same approach, even if it's not every month we're going to change these point totals. It's like, yeah, hey, it sucks that these YCS results are all Snake Eyes. Like 90% Snake Eyes conversion rate. Okay, like, let's emergency ban list OSS or something, right?
Yeah.
But that's never the mentality they take. No. It's always kind of, sorry about that. Now here's some new cards. You don't have to play Snake Eyes anymore, you know?
Yeah, they ban so that they can sell the good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's interesting, again, like, they also don't like to admit when they make a mistake.
Of course not. No.
Like, because what card came off the ban list maybe 2 ban lists ago, and it's now being used more than ever?
Oh, the Protoss.
Yeah. And it's just like, why?
It's just an innocent little guy.
And it came off the ban list, and people were like, it doesn't, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Now it's a big deal because it's like, that's what happened against Trift. You got Proto. Yeah. Like, it's just like, yeah. And I mean, it made me feel good to not see, like, or to see that Raizio, like, is not dead. Like it was in the top 4. Like,
on the mats,
Like that's cool. Like
Yeah.
that's a neat little thing.
Except it's fucking not, because you're double hand ripping because the card doesn't say
Yeah.
once per turn you can use this.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Ouroboros, yeah.
oh, like
I thought we had made our way away from that with the decline of water
yeah.
decks,
I don't think
but
that's a
nope.
healthy part. Again, that's not a healthy part of the game, right?
I love, like, okay, here's the thing other games don't have. We have an eternal format. The cards that came out 25 years ago, if you find an application for them in your deck, they're playable.
Yes.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Because you can go and search cards for hours. Like, it's how people found some of the decks that are good with Canine.
Yep.
It's like, okay, let me search through every level 5. Hey, this one works in Dracotail.
Or
Like,
Primite, just a gift for old cards.
yeah, exactly. But that comes with, like, yeah, if you make 2 level 4s, which makes you Infernal Flame Banshee, which lets you search a Pyro monster, which gets you into Protoss, it's kind of like, which card in that situation is the problem? Is it the level 4 that you summon to make it? I would argue not, especially if it's archetypal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not that one. Is it Infernal Flame Banshee? You could say that, but it was made to give support to Pyro decks that don't have a lot. So the guy playing his fucking Ashen deck is like, hey, come on, you know?
Well, and Konami would ban that. Like
That's
they
the
would,
thing.
they would be like, "Oh, we're not going to ban the problem. We're going to ban the bridge." It was the same thing with the Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
yeah.
"We're not going to ban the problem card
Yeah.
that's already banned in a
but that's the
different
thing, right?
format.
Like-
we're going to ban the card that bridges it."
It's kind of like, it's hard to gauge which card is the problem.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing Frogs and you can't make Totally Awesome, you're not playing Frogs. You go play anything else because your deck does not have its boss monster anymore.
True.
That sucks, right?
Yep.
And we've all agreed that, like, it's better that White Binder and Detonator are still in the game. It's better for
Yes.
everyone. Just because it's more interesting.
Yep.
It gives people a reason to still play those decks. Totally Awesome is the same thing, right? Now, maybe it shouldn't be generic. Sure. Maybe Infernal Flame Banshee shouldn't be generic. Maybe King of the Feral Imps shouldn't have been generic.
Yep.
But those make interesting deck
Combinations,
challenges, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so say in the vein of Rizio, is they've determined that X Rizio was the problem, right? That was their solution. Let's hit
Yes.
this to 1, let's lower the consistency. When they go and they bridge from Rizio to Mitsurugi, which card is the problem card? They also determined King of the Feral Imps,
Yeah.
right? Now, if you're a guy playing some weird reptile deck, I don't even know, like some alien deck, you're like, okay, now I don't have my searcher. That sucks.
Yep.
That deck is now unplayable.
Yeah.
But just because there's not a spotlight on it right now, because it's just some weirdo at your local's favorite deck, okay, see ya, bud. Or if you're a deck that was playing literal heralds, orange light, purple light, whatever, just trying to make your herald of ultimateness to get the worst Omni negate in the game. Now you can't play that deck because they put arc light to 1. It's stuff like that where it's like, there are cards that are a problem. The solution is usually banning that card. But you could have solved it right from the get-go by not making things generic.
Yeah.
By having restrictions on cards. Like, maybe you can still make King of the Feral Imps, but you can't activate Habakiri the turn you activated something that's not a reptile. Like, stuff like that. Where it's like, there are ways to better balance these things out, but I think they're aware of that, and they know that that makes the cards less sellable. If I don't think I can put canines into any deck I choose, I'm less likely to go buy them. I'll just keep playing the deck I'm playing that still has its boss monster, because I can still reliably do that. But, if you make Canine a splashable engine, Mitsurugi splashable, Fiendsmith splashable, now everybody wants to grab those cards because they can. They'll work in whatever weird toad alien deck you're playing, right? So I don't know what the actual solution here is.
Yeah.
Like, Genesis feels like it tries to tackle that problem better in that, like, there's no hard bans. There's hard combo bans, but not hard card bans. But I don't think you can do that in TCG. You can't say, like, you can play 1 Raigeki. You know, like, there's just, because there's no point buy system, there's no way to, like, hitting a card down to 1, again, in my opinion, makes it way shittier when that card gets resolved against you, because you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
The guy's playing 60 and he fucking drew goes in match. I'm cooked.
You
like,
G shifter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that would suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah, oh, man, who would do that? Who would do such a terrible thing? Like playing the 1 D shifter in their main.
You're a scumbag.
Even I had the decency to take Featherstorm out of main.
Oh, thank you.
But speaking of Genesis, let's look at some of the results, because we know Vanquish Soul won.
Yes.
Second place was Odeon.
Mm-hmm.
We had Exo Sister. This is all the top 8.
Yep.
Generator, which is cool.
That
I
is
have
cool.
that deck. I could play that deck. Radiant Typhoon. I have that deck. I could play that deck. Resonator, so RDA, and White Forest, or I think all in the top 8, if not top 16.
Which is very different from like your top
Yeah.
I get, like, you can't play Link monsters. I get that's why you won't see a lot of decks, but it is very interesting to see the decks that topped in that format. And I think
there's not a lot. So okay, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Top 16 for Genesis. The most represented deck was Vanquish Soul with 3 spots in the top 16.
Must be very validating for you.
The only other deck that had more than 1 was Radiant Typhoon, which had 2. So 5 decks, 2 of them were the same, and the rest were completely separate decks. Comparing that to the top 32, so a bigger sample size.
Yep.
Do you know how many Chris Strong players were in the top 32?
Oh, there was a few.
There was just 1.
Oh, no, it was just the one. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
thinking of I was thinking of there's 2 Fire King, or not Fire King, Vanquish Soul.
Vanquish Soul. Yeah,
there was
you're
2
right.
Vanquish Soul. That's
2
what I
Vanquish
saw.
Souls in the top 32.
Yeah.
4 Mitsurugis, 1 Ryziel, 1 White Forest, 1 K9, 4 other unknowns. You want to guess how many Yummy?
I'm seeing that slice of the pie.
It's a big slice.
Pretty
of the
big
pie.
slice.
So many.
So in the top 32, just a little bit under half, and 14 Yummy tops. And I don't know if the graph I'm looking at differentiates between Yummy Mitsurugi, Mitsurugi Pure.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on what they have more of in there.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of Yummy. Yeah, it's mostly Yummy. Which is fine.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with Yummy. But obviously we're seeing a lot of, or not a lot of parody, I guess. Or is it parody? How would that work? Whatever, it doesn't matter. We're seeing a lot of the same
Yeah.
shit.
Landscape isn't very wide.
Yes. Which is normal for the TCG. Is it better or worse? Who's to say? But it is what it is. Like, this is what we have. No Draco Tail tops, which is weird because I guess I just wasn't there or whatever. But
Well, there was a few players who were playing Draco Tail.
yeah, I think there was a few top 64. 4 Draco Tail spots in the top 32. So yeah, none converted to top 8. I think that's what it was. Yeah, 1 made it to the top 16. So top 16. But obviously none converted to top 8. So none were in the playoff for the YCS.
And I think the reason why is because I think the D barrier is like a really bad card for that against that deck. Like, well, for that deck, I should say.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people are playing it. Like, I think it's good. It can be good against Yummy because you call synchros. It's good against Crystron because you can call XYZ or Xyz monsters. It's good, but it's really, really devastating for Draco Tail because it's having the fusion. And I think because it's a searchable thing, if someone sees you're playing that, they're just gonna like keep thrust in the in your main and have 3 copies of that and say, okay, have fun, play against it, play against me now.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
and it's shitty because there's ideology, I guess, of Draco Tail, and that Femena fuses on my turn or your turn. So if you stop me on my turn, I can use it on your turn. But if I go Femena and you go D barrier, I have no way to get it back now.
Yep.
I can't fuse on your turn. So you kind of have to play around it, which is fine. But yeah, lingering floodgate, lame.
Yeah, don't need to go back into that conversation. Yeah.
I guess before we move on here, do you guys have any thoughts on, I guess, the ratios and the comparative between Genesis and TCG?
It's kind of cool that each of us is represented in one way or another in Genesis just by looking at that first event. Like historically, we've all got a deck in there. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it is a shame seeing that there is very little deviance in TCG. Yeah, it's just a shame.
I was watching a Distant Coder, I think, video today, just talking about his perspective after this event on Genesis format. It was interesting because he said, like, now if I want to play a deck, I always know I can. If there's tweaks, if something gets, is considered, like, say Vanquish Soul had the most representation. So if they make changes to the point totals for Vanquish Soul, that could go down. And someone who's playing that deck might feel slighted, but not to like such an extent that, say, you did when they hit Vanquish Soul on the ban list. Because if you really want to, you can keep playing Vanquish Soul the same way you do now.
Yep.
But it feels less, you just can't play those cards.
Yeah.
You can, as long as the point totals add up enough, you can play those. You're just sacrificing other non-engine spots, which feels better than you can only play one of that card now. It's too bad. There's certain cards like that, but there's I don't know. I'd have to check, but I don't think there's any in archetype cards that cost you more than half of your point total. So
no, and I think it really comes down to, I don't think, the big theme of it, again, that we've talked about many times, is what do you want to get out of Yu-Gi-Oh? Yeah. And I think with Genesis, it is, you would never be able, I don't think you could make, you could make competitive like events, right? Sure. I don't know if you'd be able to prize it in a way that the same way you could like TGC, because it's just different, one. And also I think Genesis really focuses more on the skill of deck construction.
You're talking at the local level in terms of pricing?
Yeah, I don't know if they do. Like, I haven't really...
I have no idea. I haven't asked Sean, but I don't see why not. Like, you pay your entry, you get some packs, whatever, but yeah, go on.
I was just going to... Like, it just really feels like you have to build the deck. You can play your deck. You can play any version of that deck.
Yeah.
But what are you going to sacrifice to do it? Where it's like, I can play Vanquish Soul in its purest form. I can't play the canine cards because they cost too much.
Yeah.
I can play some hand traps, but again, I can't play every hand trap because they cost too much.
Yeah.
And it really comes forward with, like, your deck has to be able to have answers to a lot of different things, but you're not going to be able to play 12 hand traps like in advanced format.
Yeah.
Like, it really, I think it really, like, maybe I'm riding the Genesis train a little too hard because, like, I know that I've been really excited to try it. I haven't even once yet. Yeah. I think I tried to build the deck and I was like, I got too frustrated. but I think it's just because I didn't have the cards I needed, and with everything going on, it's hard for me to get the things I need to make that deck optimal in the optimal way. Sure. Like, I didn't want to destroy my Vanquish Soul deck to make it. I was trying to make a Fire King one.
Yeah.
And I made one and I was like, I still don't like it. Like, it doesn't, something is not fitting here. So I just stopped. And I think, I really, like, it'd be interesting to play it. But again, like I said, it encourages deck building, construction, where you're like, you have to, if you want to play hand traps, if you want to play the Mulcharmies, that's fine. But then you have to play a deck that doesn't cost you very much or anything really, because, and again, I know that hand traps are a touchy subject because it's like, I'm switch daily where it's like, I love hand traps. And I'm like, I fucking hate them when I have them. But I think you're going to see more variety in the decks that do well. Like, I think it's just you're playing against the player rather than you're playing against the meta.
Yeah. It reminds me of domain format, which we love. And domain format was cool because it was just deck building. You create your domain, and then it's like, what can I fit in here that could help? Maybe it's not my optimal line, but it's interesting and affects multiple players, blah, 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 blah. That element's obviously not there, but it's still like, okay, can't play Imperm. where are my breakthrough skills? I gotta search through my bulk and find them. Or where's my Titanocide or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like I had that experience similar to yours. Started like conceptualizing what voiceless voice would look like in Domain, and was just like, oh, whatever, man, I can't even. Like the strategy changes.
Yes.
It's not just like, it doesn't feel so much as like I'm playing a control deck. It's like, I gotta kill this guy. Like, I gotta find a way, or I need to play so much back row and stuff that like it compensates for what would normally be hand trap control with an Omni negate.
Yeah.
So I'm still interested. Like I like yourself, haven't played Genesis at all yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to try it. But it is more interesting looking at the results of Genesis, being like, oh, so that's good in this format. But in the same breath, so could have anything else. Like we just didn't see it this time. So it feels less like I got to go prepare for the meta game. It's like I'm just going to build the best deck for the cards that I think look coolest, and then try to compete with it.
It definitely feels like Playground Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like, these are my cards. This is the deck I like. I want to just play my deck. I'm not going to try and like play the cards that are good. Like siding. When we talk about siding, when it comes to advanced format, we're all siding for the same big decks, right? You're going to try and hit as many of the decks as possible, but you're going to see a Dracotail, you're going to see a Yummy, and you're going to probably now see a Mitsurugi or a Crystron. So you need to have answers to those. Yeah. Where it's like with Genesis, you just got to be able, if your deck doesn't play good against it, you got to try and out it. You got to think of, how do I play around a deck that is a bad matchup, rather than how do I play around a searchable floodgate? Or how do I play around because it's just like, oh, okay, I know I'm playing Mitsurugi. I'm just going to side my Drolls in. You have the answer, where it's like, you're with Genesis, you don't know what you're going to see. Yes. You could see anything. Yeah.
It feels more like Duelist Kingdom, where it's like, this guy's got dinosaurs. And it's like, oh, well, I don't got no for dinosaurs. But, I don't know. Like, something you said just made me think, like, there is, when we get metagames in the TCG, like, there is an interesting part where it's like, my deck needs an out for Liger, say. Yeah. So then you conceptualize, how can I do that in this deck? Yep. And then it's a matter of like going and executing that when you get faced with those situations, which is like high skill level thing. I just think it gets to a certain point where it doesn't become that anymore. No. Just like throw this card in there because your deck can play Shifter, so play it. And it's like, oh, you're going to get wins just from resolving Shifter.
My deck can play Shifter.
Any thoughts, Stefan, on Genesis?
I really was reminded of the one time that we did a draft cube here. Oh, yeah. When you set that up. That was a fun time. It was... because I've built an RDA deck already. I have one ready to go for Genesis stuff. And it was kind of like using a skill I hadn't used in a really long time. Yeah. Because I haven't had to think like that in so long. Because like you said, I'm just tossing in stuff that I know is good right now. And... everybody net decks a little bit, to get like a starting point, but I wasn't really doing that much here. Like I was looking at old builds that I had saved of RDA and seeing, did this still fit? What do I need to cut to be under the point total and everything? And it reminded me of the cube, and it reminded me of our games earlier when we were getting started, just because, we had archetypes, but it was like
fiends,
zombies,
Jinzo.
Yeah. I like it. I'm optimistic to see what more comes out of this. I want to see what this other Resonator player put together. I'm excited to see that list.
Yeah, that was one thing the Distant Coder mentioned as well. Like, it is a kind of a balance to the net decking that happens in the TCG, where a list like Triff's tops, then everybody's going to do that list. Now you got to be prepared for that list. You know what they're playing, and this guy switched up and got a little spicy. Okay, I wasn't ready for that. I lost. Whereas in Genesis, it's kind of like there is no best practice. No, that guy won, but that guy won, and that's a detriment to that deck because now people know that you can play those things. Yeah. Which is similar, but it's not the same because there's no guarantee you're going to run into 3 Vanquish Soul and a Radiant Typhoon and a blah, 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 blah. Those decks are the best because they top this event. Yeah, the first event. There's no, like, especially when the point totals change, there's no way to gauge what decks are going to be the best next event. Yeah. Which I just don't think with like the regional cycle and the YCS cycle, like I just don't think that's true of the TCG. It's like we know Yummy is the most represented deck. You have to be prepared to play Yummy. If you're not, you will lose more games than you'll win because there's more of them, which means more of them are converting. They're beating you if you're not ready for it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because, like, yeah, you could pair into the fucking weirdest shit. Buddy with his alien deck and the toads and the fucking, you know, that's a deck you could play against. You can't prepare for that shit. I haven't read those cards ever. No one even knows those cards. So, I don't know. That's cool to me. For that reason alone, it's like I'd like to see the characters that come out at fucking Genesis events.
I feel like you're going to see a lot of players who play at locals who are tired of getting their like shit kicked in every week, who are committed to playing a certain, like obviously the link will not happen.
Oh, dude,
he's gonna walk up and just get turned away.
For that guy.
But he can go and play. Yeah, but I mean, like he can go and try something else, right? I don't know if he will, but like I'm thinking of players who maybe. Who's that one guy you played against who was playing that Xyz Monsters Day? It's all the like dessert cards.
Oh, Madolche.
Yeah. Someone like that who like is passionate about that deck, who wants to just play that because it's fun.
I played against him.
He's awesome. I think I played against him once, and I was like, this guy's. I would play against him again. Cool, like super nice guy. But like, you feel bad. I felt bad when I played him the first time because I was playing the peak like Vanquish Soul Canine, and it was like it just feels bad. And I'm like but this guy has a chance to go and play in a different format where he can use that deck and just go and do it for the love of the game. Where I'm not, maybe I'm gonna, maybe I'll win a few matches. Don't know who I'm gonna play against, but he's playing it for the love of the game rather than playing it to win. Which again comes back to what do you want to get out of the Yu-Gi-Oh? Like,
let's talk about it, dude.
Yeah.
So this is what we kind of teased last week.
Yeah.
And then you had an interaction that I guess was formative for your perception on Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, just break it down for us again.
Well, which one do you want to talk about first? Because there's three interactions at locals we can talk about.
Start with the one where you got away with a game you shouldn't have.
Oh yeah, okay, we'll start with that. Okay, so I'll explain it again. We did it already, but so I had played in locals, and I was my first time coming back after the ban list.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of going to have fun. I wasn't expecting to do exceedingly well, but I was just going to have fun, and I won my first round, and I was like, oh, this is great. I'm pretty happy.
At this point, you're feeling pretty low about your deck.
Yeah, I was not in the best
coming
mind
to work
state.
with the little stick in the bag.
I talked very vocally about how I'm like I don't want to play anymore. Like this isn't for me anymore because I'm just like I was just in a very bad place for the deck. Yeah. But I came back and I was like I'm just gonna try it, and I won my first round. I was pretty happy. I was feeling good, and then I go to my second round and I won that. And then I'm like, okay, it's time for the third round. And I was at the top table, which like I was like, I'm not gonna be here for long, whatever. But I was just going to have fun. And I was playing against the guy, super nice guy. It was a deck I've never seen, but I played against before, so I didn't really know the interaction points. I didn't know what he was doing or what I could interact with. I was learning as I was going. I'm I'm hitting the ground running. And
playing the game.
Yeah, I'm playing the game. Our first game, I won, and then the second game, he won, and then we're going into the third game. We're siding, and obviously there's a crowd that starts to form around. And we talked about it that like when that happens, I'm a very self-conscious Yu-Gi-Oh player, and that like I know I'm not doing the optimal lines ever. Because I know my lines in my head. I'm gonna do these. If something goes wrong, I might just hit a wall because I'm not.
Hang on, stop there for a second. Sorry, but this is the thing. I'm sure you feel the same. I think we're all through on the same page. I know Sam is because I was watching Sam play yesterday, and he looked at me and was like, "Can you leave? I am misplaying just because you're around." And I was like, "No, dude, you got it. Just remember the ghoul bell."
Yeah.
There's one point. This is bad. But I'm watching him play, and there's a window where he should have activated something. And I just like hovered over the table and like picked up the card and placed it back down. I was like,
You're like
it was like a friendly match. So
outside influence.
Yeah, I was not coaching. But I was like,
Yeah, but it's like I get nervous, so I forget when.
All that to say, me too. Yeah,
and I think I'm just trying to play the game, and if I don't play it the best possible way, I'm okay with that. I'm not like the type of person that needs to hit the optimal lines or play it in the optimal way, because that's just not. I don't have the brain power to do that. I'm not going to regionals because
come play Draco Tail, dude. It's so simplified.
I know, and but there was a crowd, and there was a person who was getting visibly upset by our playing, by me and the person who I was playing against. So much so that he had to verbally say, "I have to leave," and like walked away. So I was happy because I'm like, okay, fine, he's gone. Thank God, I can just play the deck now. Yeah. And like we were playing, and there was something. He built his big board, and I was like, okay, I got to try and break this board. And I had Mulcharmied him twice, so I had a giant stack of cards in my hand, and it was not enough for us to like do the shuffle thing. Like I was like perfect. I have lots of things I can do. I'm just gonna try and get through as much as I can. I ended up being able to break his board to the point where I was ready to end the game. Like I had done enough. Like I had enough on board to do damage, and the the character comes back and is still losing his mind over stuff that's happening because the player across from me was forgetting effects. Now I don't know his deck, so I'm not gonna just read every card and be like, oh yeah, you forgot to do this, because I'm honoring the state of the game. I'm just playing my cards. If you have a response, tell me you have a response.
Well, you're trusting that the guy who brought the deck to locals knows how to play his deck.
Yes. So then we get to the battle phase. I'm ready to do the last bit of damage, and he tried to activate this effect. And this guy behind me, with different guy, was like, oh, you can't do that. And the guy was like, oh, really? And then read the card and was like, oh, I can't do that. And then I won the game. And I was like, okay, I'm just happy I won that game. I probably didn't do it in the best way. I probably didn't do it the optimal way, but I was happy I won the game. Mm-hmm. And that we were like really close to time, but thank God we ended it. So I'm like, okay, I'm unsiding. I'm ready to play my next game. And the guy was freaking out, who was losing it. He's my next person. And he sits down, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, oh, how's it going? I've never interacted with this guy before. Yeah. And the first thing he said to me, he's like, yeah, you shouldn't have won that game. And I'm like, and I kind of just it shook me. And I was like, yeah, what? And he's like, yeah, the guy who was like, he should have done this and this and this. Oh, you could have done this, and you just shouldn't have won that game. And I'm like, oh, okay. And like, for me, I'm not gonna just like argue with this guy who I'm about to play with, because it was just not, I wasn't even in that mindset to do that. But I just really put a sour taste in my mouth, because I'm like, this is locals at like on a Sunday. Yeah. Like, relax, dude.
I'm not gonna wish you good luck, man.
Yeah, like, it's like you're not inviting people to be Yu-Gi-Oh players. Like, if I wasn't someone who was like gonna keep playing, like this, if it was a new person who would just, maybe he's winning for the first time.
These guys are fucking weird. I'm not coming back.
Yeah, like he might be like, well, like fuck this. I don't want to. That guy was so rude. And he's so like abrasive. Like, I don't want to be around people like that. Yeah. Like, it was just such a weird interaction that I was shocked. And I've told people about it. I'm like, I've never experienced something like that before.
You know what's interesting? As I'm sure anyone who's listening to this who's played out of locals has experienced this guy before. Yeah. This type of guy. At some locals, they're all this type of guy. Mm-hmm. When we play here, we're that guy with each other. Yeah. Because we're playtesting. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, hey, Dan, next time, just so you know, you can actually bounce this card instead of that one, and then you can use it again or whatever, right? Yep. Something like that. Because when I want you to go to locals, I want you to do as well as you can, or know, like, oh, yeah, he actually can't do that. You don't have to worry about that. Mm-hmm. So that you win. So that you're more aware, right? Yep. But when I do that, we're pals. Yes. And even if we weren't, there's a level of understanding that, like, I'm offering unsolicited advice. That's what it is. Yeah. Now, sometimes it could be solicited. That's a different story. But in most cases, what I find, especially at locals, but even when we're playtesting, it's like, oh, hey, just so you know, he can't actually do that, so let's go back, let's fix the game state, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. At locals, it's a different story, obviously, but it's all from a foundation of the ability to communicate with somebody on a personal level that's neither combative or like abrasive. Mm-hmm. That, what I just explained, is not a fundamental trait of the average Yu-Gi-Oh player.
No.
That
put it nicely.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, very much a rarity.
Yep.
Again, our group has the benefit of the doubt because we're all buddies. So even if something comes across in a weird way, you know it's coming from a good place of like, let's, correct the board state or something.
Yeah.
But at locals, there's this mindset of, you mentioned like ideal gameplay.
Yeah.
We could talk about this for hours, like the average Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Yep.
Which I think is leaps and bounds away from the average like professional individual, like, member society.
Yes.
I don't think the Venn diagram crosses over too much.
There's a third circle somewhere off in another room.
Yeah, dude. But,
those are the runic stun players.
and that, honestly, I'm not like taking the piss. I'm not like trying to like put anyone down.
No.
These are observations I've made, and like I recognize I'm also part of this community. I share some of those same traits. It's like we're probably just as a whole not the best. What's the word? Communicators, say, right?
Yes.
So with these idealized like board states, right? It's the same thing as like we talked about like the YCS. I show you my hand, you show me yours. I know you win, you know I win, because we're so dialed. We've calculated everything. I can't break your board because you're gonna go full combo because my hand doesn't have enough interactions. What the fuck are we doing then?
Well, and it's like
Let's play the game.
That same guy during our game when we're playing, he's like commentating everything that
Yes.
I'm going to do before I do it, and I'm like, okay, like I get you are like you're a well-knowledged Yu-Gi-Oh player. But you're
That's an
saying it
aspect of
out
it.
loud,
Yeah.
and I get it. It's like a part of the like psychological warfare of Yu-Gi-Oh. But I don't
Dude,
think like that.
I think that's giving people way too much credit. I'm choosing my words very like delicately here. Like some people, when things don't go in a expected way, doesn't compute. It simply does not compute. I'm that way for certain things, 100%. When the computer doesn't work, I'm furious.
Yes.
Yeah, I turn into a fucking animal, like primal.
Yeah,
no fucking, like that's my thing. But some people, that thing for them is Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes.
Dude, you should have activated this and you had the chance, which means that he didn't do this, so then this branching thing never happened, and that means that you shouldn't have won that game. What are you talking about? But I did.
And that's
you
the
gaslight
point.
yourself, dude. But I won.
Yeah.
So I understand things could have gone differently, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So I won. Now, I think when you're like trying to become the best Yu-Gi-Oh player you can be, which is like, I don't know, a little dramatic, but like if that's your goal, then I think those things are valuable to know. Sure. But that's not the question here. The question is like the way it's done. The way somebody approaches you and says, hey, I think that was a misplay, is a different conversation than you fucked up. You shouldn't have won that game. That guy sucks. You suck too because you.
Well, I've had people in our group that like approach me in a different way, and that have changed the way I play the game.
Sure.
For example, I'll shout out to Andre. He said one thing that has changed the way that I play the game now, and just by that one thing he said, it was like 2 Mat CSs ago. I play differently, and I feel like I play better because it was like the end of the night. He's like, oh, like maybe do this instead. Like, don't think about the cards that you need to resolve. Instead of playing those first to bait out things, play other things first to bait out things. And it was just like, I never thought about it that way. Yeah. And just because of that, I started seeing more success because of the one thing he said. Yes. Or like, again, it's different when it's like, oh, you could have done even when we play, you're like, oh, this is where you could have interacted with me to stop this, or like, oh, you can ash this card if you have because
even
I guess
when we playtest, it's like, okay, if you have something now is like the pivotal spot.
Yes.
So when you get Joe Blow playing Draco Tail, I'm gonna stop you there because Matt told me that's the spot, and fucking it worked. Holy shit.
Yes.
Because who would know better than the people who are playing the decks?
Yeah.
But sorry, go on.
And I don't expect that at the local level, not to be some guy to sit across from me and be like, this is the spot you need to hit me.
This is how you beat me.
Yeah, but it's still like, and I know it's asking a lot from Yu-Gi-Oh players, but to just be like a little, like just have a little common courtesy for people to just be like, not just sit down and be like, yeah, you suck at the game. You shouldn't have won that game, you idiot. You should, it's like, okay, why? Like,
oh,
it's because then it doesn't.
He's a Yu-Gi-Oh player. He's a Canadian Yu-Gi-Oh player.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm like, holy shit. Okay, sorry. I'm just here to play cards. I'm just here to have fun. Like, because that's what I want to get out of Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not here to be like, oh, you're gonna do this, and then this is gonna happen, and you're gonna do this, and this I'm gonna do this, and I'm like, okay.
Which, to be clear, is fine.
Yes.
I think. But it's another thing too, right? Okay, it's kind of like the Sorry to go back to the fucking Duelist Kingdom again.
No.
But when like Yugi stops looking at his cards because he's got faith in them or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a strategic advantage because now Pegasus doesn't know his cards because he's trying to read his mind, but that mind hasn't looked at the cards, so he doesn't even know. When you don't play predictably, you become less predictable.
Yes.
So, yeah, I know you think it's an idealized combo for me to go this way. It provides more options. If I know you know that, I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Then you're scrambling, right? And what I hate is, again, that same, I look at your cards, you look at mine, we determine the winner, we shake hands, and we go home. I get my packs, I open the shiny guys, I wish I got a shinier guy. Where is the fucking...
Where's the fun?
Human element of, like, some people misplay.
Yeah.
Take advantage of it. Maybe if it's not your boys, you might say, yo, you sure? But if it's that guy who's being a fucking asshole to everybody, be like, holy shit, you didn't ash this?
Yeah.
You stupid brand infusion. It's like, yeah, I don't know. There's certain aspects of like, comes back to deck building, comes back to like play style, all of those things where like, I think it's silly to be like, this is how you play the deck, this is what you do. If you open this hand, you go like this, blah, 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 blah. Yes, you can.
Yep.
But kind of like what Andre said, like if I open a Malice hand and I see Dormouse and I slam it on the field and you go Lancia, okay, cool, I lose.
Yep.
Right? There's more ideal lines. There's like that would be the most ideal one card combo. Blah, 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 blah,
yes.
5 negates, whatever. But I'm aware of the fact that you might have Lancia.
Yep.
You might have done it in the draw phase, standby. You might be waiting. You might have Fua that you're waiting. I have to sequence things in a way that doesn't allow you to get the best bang for your buck.
Yeah.
But I have the ability to draw a hand I've never drawn before. So my approach to that same strategy of not playing into things that I'll lose to changes with every hand I have. So to be like there's one way and only one way to play this deck, and that guy fucked up based off his hand, it's kind of like, I don't know, for me it's just very narrow-minded. Like even when like Sam plays Draco Tail, I play Draco Tail, there's things he does where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Right? And then he beats me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, that was pretty genius, man. And he was like, what? And I'm like, you did this instead of this. He's like, oh shit, I didn't know you could do that. And vice versa. Like, there's been instances where I'm like, we recorded a game the other day where I'm like, yo shit, Brandon Fusion's crazy because you could do it after you make spheres. And he's like, you can't. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's not that crazy, But like, it's just done in a way where it's kind of like we're both learning from the experience and we're both getting something out of it. I'm not just being like, yo, Sam, you suck at Draco Tail. Listen to everything I say. That's not like a very good friend.
No.
And it's not an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it's just like I get that guy, his whole goal is to win. I want to be the top at locals.
Sure.
Yeah, good for you, man. That'd be great if I did that one day. That particular day especially, I was just wanting to go and have fun. Yeah. I was having a blast. And then to have someone sit in front of me and go, yeah, you shouldn't have won that game. And I was like, but I didn't say it, but I should have been like.
Cut my deck and shut the fuck up.
I was like, but I did. It doesn't. Like, it doesn't matter that I didn't win. I did win.
Yeah.
Just because that guy didn't understand, like, how he could have beat me or what optimal line that he didn't see. And I didn't fucking see because I don't know what he can or cannot do.
Yeah.
Just because he didn't see it and I didn't see it, it doesn't mean that we're both bad at Yu-Gi-Oh. I happen to win. Does that mean that I shouldn't have won that game? No. It means that the guy he misplayed.
He misplayed. It's a thing that happened. It goes back to the same thing I was just touching on. It's communication, right?
Yeah.
From a judge's perspective,
yes,
it's on both players to maintain a correct board state. That is true. But we've both forgot to bring back our SP Little Knight banishes. That's just the game state now. It's too late. You should have remembered. I should have remembered. Maybe it's advantageous for me not to remember, but I genuinely forgot.
Yep.
It's whatever. it's over. It's too bad. We can't go back. We can't fix it. Or if we're at locals, we can say, and put the cards back, right?
Yeah.
Fuck, I would have done something differently. Oh, who knows what would have happened? Doesn't matter. Like, now when you're playing at a top event or you're playing at a regional, YCS, whatever, those are things you want to be aware of. Again, because you're trying to, like, optimize your strategy. But then it's the same thing we touched on earlier, where it's like, you know kind of what you're going to see the most, at least. So there's very few times where you have to, like, pick up a card you've never seen before, read it, comprehend it, give it back, and remember any of that shit. I was playing against a Rescue Ace player.
Yes.
I never played when Rescue Ace was, like, a dominant deck. And it's gotten some new supports in the way of, like, that new Fire Link monster and stuff. So a guy, a nice guy at our locals, one of the few, like, you know, great communicators, at least at our store.
Yep.
Was very like, hey, you should read these 4 cards that I'm adding to my hand off one effect, which is crazy. But so I did my fucking very best. In fucking high school, I had very high reading comprehension levels, but there's nothing that prepares you for like 4 different spell trap cards, and you got to be like, okay, this one is an ignition effect, and this one is cost. This one banishes. This one targets. This one doesn't. This one negates. This pops as well. And the graveyard, it does something else. I'm like, yeah, it's good. Just,
You're looking for semicolons like a madman.
I
Like,
remember-
oh, there's a semicolon there.
Yeah. I remember 2 of them, and I was like, this is gonna get me through it. It did.
Yeah.
And then he flipped one, or like, so like, yeah. Oh, the best part is when someone passes you a card that you're seeing for the first time, and you're like, okay, yep. And then they activate, and you're like, what is that one? Every fucking time, dude. It's like, come on.
Yeah. But I think it goes, we've talked about this last time, is communication is not a strong suit for Yu-Gi-Oh players.
No. It's just, it just plainly isn't, and that's fine. But it is what it is.
Yep.
And so you have to, besides reading the cards, like, and there's certain characters where, like, I don't fucking trust your explanation of the card.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to go, okay, graveyard effect, and I'm going to go, okay, I wasn't aware of that. And now I'm screwed. Now it's a misplay on my end because you didn't tell the whole truth of your cards. So I'll read it. Now it sucks because there's time rules and the match procedures. It's going to take time for me to read these cards. That's why it's awesome when you play against a guy who is a good communicator.
Yep.
And is like, okay, this is what this does, and then engrave, it can do this. Awesome. That is way more effective than me having to read the card. Although, like, I encourage, obviously, everybody to read the cards as best as you're able to and memorize them. But the game is more fluid. You get more correct game states from just being like, this does this, it's non-target, it blah, 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 blah. And then engrave, it does this. Okay, what effects do I know? Okay, cool. Go to end phase, whatever, right?
Yeah.
You know, obviously at high level events, your willingness or obligation to share those things is up to your discretion.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Just from my experience, the enjoyable matches I've had have always been with guys who are like, or people who are like willing to communicate because they're not cheating the game. And that's a big part of it for me, where it's like, there's certain guys that are locals where it's like, he'll explain every effect in detail. I have this right here, and this does this, and this goes like that, and blah, 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 and these scales set here, and if I did this, then this would happen. You're like, awesome. Now I know how to break your board.
Yes.
He's given me a blueprint.
Yep.
Which is fine, because I still have to have those cards, and I still have to not misplay into breaking your board.
Absolutely.
Which is the way it should be, because when you build a board, you're creating a puzzle for your opponent to, like, maneuver, essentially. And I don't think, like, hiding effects of cards is, like, if that's your win condition, you're cheating.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you're not a good skilled player. You're trying to, like, shark a player.
Yes.
And I think, like, we've experienced someone like that where it's not their fault that they were a bad communicator. Yu-Gi-Oh players are bad communicators.
Sure.
But we're both pretty new to advanced format.
Yeah,
like, we're
sure.
about 2-3 years into, like, playing advanced format.
Yeah.
We don't know every deck that's ever existed in the entirety of Yu-Gi-Oh. We don't know a lot of decks. I'm sorry, I'm speaking for you, Stefan. Like, I don't. I definitely don't.
No, I'd agree.
And I'm not a student of the Yu-Gi-Oh format where I study I study the meta. I'm not going to study every single rogue one that I might possibly see because I don't have the time to do that in my own personal life.
Like it's your hobby and not your life.
Yeah. And so when you go up against a player who with a deck you've never seen before, you're going to ask a lot of questions. But if your person who you're asking questions to doesn't communicate or doesn't even like explain, and I think this is going back to our last conversation at the podcast, that the files that will never be, where we talked about how when we were learning how to go to locals, we were asking me and Stefan, I think that you were doing the same thing. We were asking you and the other guys, okay, what do I need to do to be a good like patron of the locals? Like, oh, I need to announce the phases I'm going into. I need to declare effects. I need to do this. I need to do that. And we had to practice that a lot because I forgot all the...
Yeah, we had a little flow chart and everything.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I need to say standby phase. Okay, main phase. Okay, declare effect.
It was one of the first things when you guys started coming over to play, like prior to like Matt CS and all that stuff. But I just wrote down, draw, standby, main, battle, main. End, just so that it was like clear. I'm not just saying random shit.
Yeah, and that was the most like enjoyable part, was learning how to do that properly.
The jargon and all that.
And I was like, I'm like, oh, this is really fun to enter a game like this.
Yes.
And to feel like I understand the what needs to happen. The respect mutual to mutual duelist. I need to declare what's happening so you understand exactly what I'm doing, what you can or cannot do. I don't even have to explain like, do you have an ish? This is where you ash. Yeah. But I can just say, I'm searching for this, I'm special summoning this, or I'm dumping this. It was these terms. And we went up against a guy who didn't say a thing the whole time. And we both played him. And it was like, I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I had to like, I'm just doing, okay, well, can you tell me what you're doing?
Etiquette.
Like,
conscientious.
And it happened for like 40 minutes. In our one game, we both had like these long games where we're like, okay, what are you doing? Oh, and I'm meanwhile, I'm playing my turn. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. Okay, this happens. This, I'm explaining everything. And the guy still has to take the card and read it every time. Even after I'm explaining, I'm searching with this. Okay, can you do... Yes, I can do this effect. I get like Raisin. It would be like, oh, I'm going to search with Raisin. Yeah. Okay, after I do this, on resolution, I can quick effect this because it's on resolution. It's no longer the effect. Oh, okay. Can I read that? Okay, I just explained exactly what the card did. Yeah, I've explained it. And then meanwhile, when it's his turn, he's like, I'm going to do... Oh, and he's not... He's like, doesn't... And I'm like, what? Can you fucking speak up there? Like, I'm doing it properly. You're fucking... And I get it's like asking a lot to just communicate. But like, you had the same guy...
It's asking a lot of Sky Striker players.
And it was a fucking Sky Striker. And I'm like... And I'm just like, I don't know this deck. And yeah, that's my fault for not knowing it. But
I disagree with that sentiment. I don't think it's anyone's fault. Again... Like, make this a game that's accessible for new players.
Yes.
Right? And it doesn't just... It's not all on Konami. It's as... like, on us as a community.
Yes.
I've said this before, maybe on the podcast, where, like, I was frustrated with the new time rules because they don't give you, like, an opportunity to, like, meet someone, create some sort of rapport, and be like, hey, you're welcome here in our store, in our spot. Like, this was fun.
Yeah.
Like the Medolce player I played against. Like, interesting cat, man. Like, a cool dude. Like, I had a very good time, like, dueling against him.
Yep.
And it was like a pretty balanced game, whatever. But beyond that, it was just like, if he didn't know something, he would ask. And he'd be like, wait, do I start with 4 cards and then draw a 5th for my turn, or do I start with 5? And I was like, no, you start with 5. He's like, okay, I'm kind of new to this because like I'm a returning player, blah 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 blah, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But there was like instances where we could like get to know each other from playing the game. And it was like, hey man, like hope to see you again. Like we play Sundays, Fridays. Like hope to see you there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there's certain people and there's certain players that like I don't think they understand that. Like, like the guy you spoke about, where it's like, yeah, it's clear that this guy just wants to win, like he wants to do well, and I think that's fine. There's guys at our locals who are like some of the most abrasive people that I've like encountered in a social setting, and I'm like, are you enjoying yourself? Like, I understand like you're getting wins, but like you have a confrontation with every single player you play against.
Yeah.
Like a judge call or like something, like some sort of combative thing about the game state. It's like, do you enjoy this? Like, it's bizarre to me because like in most games I'm like laughing, oh shit, you had the out, blah blah blah. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
Win or lose, Like, it's frustrating to lose. Like, I want to do as well as I can too, but at the end of the game, we're playing a children's card game.
Yes.
So I just like different strokes for different folks. That's always going to be the case.
I don't want to see any Yu-Gi-Oh players stroking it, man.
Fair enough. But like, it's just really bizarre to me. Like, and I totally accept that. Like, again, choosing my words. There's a wide breadth of people that play the game who come from all different types of walks of life, whatever. I don't have any issue with that. If someone's like more reserved, say, than, some of the outgoing guys that we normally test with and stuff. And even amongst our group, there's guys who are more reserved than others.
Yeah.
It's not an issue. Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, this personality type doesn't belong in Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's like, again, it's communication. Like, dude, you don't have to be abrasive about this. Like, even if you're not a social person, you don't have to be an asshole. Like, and it's just like, why do you keep coming to this shop specifically when you fucking hate everybody here?
Yeah.
Like, there's guys that are like, oh man, when I see I'm matched up against, I'm like, oh brother. But still, it's like, oh, I'm glad you're here, big guy, because like, if you weren't, who else would be playing Morganite Stun with Crooked Cook? So
can anyone else play that?
Don't show
just
up.
Not at our local.
But no, it's truly, truly bizarre. Like, just like kind of the abrasive nature of some players. But like, I understand like that hyper focus.
Yeah, like the hyper focus to win. Like, this is a story that happened way back when I first got back into it. Into my first like preview event. It was for Rhoda. Yeah, Rage of the Abyss, and it was my first like my first preview event, like big event. Like I think I did like one locals before that.
Yeah.
And so this was like, there was a lot of people there. A lot of people I'd never seen.
Right, I remember this one. Yeah.
And I was telling Tempai, and I'm like, I know what my deck does. I don't know any other decks. I was like,
one move.
I know this one move. I'm a one-trick pony at this point. I didn't know a lot, and I was like, I'm just gonna do my synchro stuff and I'm gonna make a big guy and try to hit you. Yeah, I've got the Halo rocket launcher, and I'm gonna aim it at you. Can you stop it? And I was playing against a Yubel player, and I'd never played against Yubel, and I had heard the stories, but I'd never seen it in person. And it was hard. It was definitely like not a enjoyable matchup, but I was just the guy I was playing it, really nice guy. Like just like
that unbuttoned shirt guy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But he was just like I was still new, and he could tell, and he was like, oh yeah, this is. I'm like, oh yeah, cut. Like I didn't even know what. I was so nervous because it was my first one. I remember like sweating. I was like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just like, oh okay, yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's like, you have to stand by. Well, yeah, stand by. We're still learning this stuff. And a lovely character that we've talked about many times in our friend group. After I think we were in game 2, and I was definitely losing. I was not getting anywhere in success. I was trying to do stuff, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I like didn't have. I don't even think I had Ash at that point. Like I just was like very baby card. Yeah. Like I was babe Daniel's first deck, and this guy had come over. And he wasn't playing. He just was watching. He had finished his match, and he was watching. And he knew the guy who I was playing against. And he like looks at my hand. He's like, "Oh, Tempai player." Which the guy already knew I was Tempai, so I don't really care. And he gives the guy his buddy a fist bump. He's like, "Man, we just eat those up, don't we?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like this is what the fuck is wrong with you? Like you're not encouraging me to come back. I don't want to fucking see this asshole again. I played him after that many times after, which he never was like. That was just a weird, like I've heard stories. He usually is just like, I don't get that side of him. Usually he's just very like low key when he plays against me, which is weird. But I've seen him, and I've seen how he interacts with other people. I never want to play against him. And that day,
this guy,
okay, I'm like, this guy is weird. He's like, who does that? Because he's just like this, like he just needed to like assert dominance against these new players, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
it's the biggest rush he's gonna get all week, man.
Yeah, I think that point, Stefan, is a really, like, for some people, and I don't think there's a problem with this, like, if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the highlight of your week, that's awesome. Like, and I'm glad there's a spot for you to come and do that.
Yeah.
But, like, you have to accept that's not the reality for everyone.
No.
And you also have to accept that you can't be a fucking dick about it. Like, I don't care that your fucking Ubel deck beat my Tempai deck. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, we're playing the game, are we not? Like, it's the guys who, like, it's kind of all they got, you know?
Well, and I could tell the guy who I was playing against, he was, like, uncomfortable by that comment. Because he was, like, I think he was, like, what the fuck? Like, but the guy, he just comes over. And he just, like, it's like, go fuck off. Like, you don't need to interrupt our thing. Like, I get that your boy's playing. You got to, but I'm not beating him. Yeah. I'm obviously not going to beat him. Like, you don't have to rub salt in the wound. Like, I get it. I'm not going to... I see the mountain. I'm not going to go try and beat it, obviously, in that moment, because I'm still pretty, like, jelly legs new. Yeah. Like, but
you know what? You just brought up a concept to me. I just realizing for the first time, I hate a fucking R deck guy.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck is we? You talking Nintendo, man? Like, what? Our deck? This is my deck. I don't fucking know what you're doing over there. If we're not playing a list, a card for card list, don't our deck me, man. I don't want to be associated. Our deck is better than I don't fucking know what you're doing, man.
Well, there's another group that does that too, though.
Oh, dude, I know.
We can go right into that conversation because you played him recently in your last locals, but you share yours and I'll share mine after. So.
Well, it'll be like a collaborative thing, I think. It's look, if you're gonna play Runic, you can play it, but like, don't
expect handshakes.
Yeah, like, don't look. You're lucky for getting a fist bump from me, man. I don't want to hear how close that game was. I don't want to hear about it. You know what you're doing. It's fine. Yeah. That's the game. I've accepted that. I can be a little sour and bitter about it, and maybe I'm going to be like that outwardly, but I'm not going to be a dick to you about the deck that you're playing, but I'm not going to
be your pal.
Yeah, we're not going to be friends, man. You've wasted 50 minutes of both of our time by playing this game with me, essentially. Yes. Like, you haven't done anything. I have a very low opinion of people that play this deck. Obviously, I'm just being over it this way, but like, what are we doing? Well, and this isn't a game.
It goes back to, again, what do you want out of Yu-Gi-Oh? If this is what you want, like, you're a shithead. Like, you're a not good person. You're not someone I want to hang out with. Like, because this happened at the last, or like 2 locals ago when the time rules were first introduced.
Yes.
This character, who you played him recently, I not played him.
Yeah.
Like, he was going around talking to everybody, and he was actively saying to people, "I'm here to waste everybody's time." Yeah. And it was the first day of like locals with the time rules.
Yes, it was like, because these time rules have changed, I am now going to implement this strategy, which is very annoying and is going to put a lot of people on edge because no one's certain about these new time rules, which was a dick thing to do.
Yes.
But he's, like, I guess younger than us, kid.
Yep.
And he just wanted to be annoying.
Yeah, and I don't even think it was his deck, which is what's crazy. No, it's another guy who always used to play that deck. And I've played that guy before. And it was kind of like your younger brother needed a Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and you give him this. Yeah, that is you're setting him up to be the asshole of the store. No one wants to hang out with you. And so when he played, like, Sam, another guy in our group, he hates that deck. I think more than both of us. Like, Sam for fair, like, absolutely fair. But Sam will just be like, "No, I'm not playing that." Yeah, which is fair. I did the same thing right after, because Sam did it and he didn't play, so then he won that round because no one wants to play against that. You'd rather take the L than play and get frustrated and then take the L. Like, so I was like, not a chance. I don't want to play it. That's fine. You get your win. And he was like, and he reached out for a handshake, and I'm like, no, I'm not giving you a handshake because you know what you're doing. Like, I'm not here to, like, I'm not going to encourage you to do this again. This is not like, because it's toxic Yu-Gi-Oh. It's doing it on purpose.
I'm of 2 minds about this.
Yeah.
Firstly, if you're a stun player, I know, you know.
Yeah, just be honest.
We know.
Yeah, we know what you're doing.
Yeah, but then, secondly, this is a strategy, like you said. I think this came up in the last pod. I think this made it in, but you know, it's a strategy to win games, not friends. Like, no, that's the most concise way I can say it, because, like, I stopped by the store yesterday after getting back in from out of town, and there was a guy playing against the same guy, and the stun player won the first game, and he went to go dap the guy up. The guy said, "No, man, I'm not shaking your hand. You're playing Riddick stun." And it was like, not passive aggressive. Like, it probably sounded worse when I said it just now.
Yeah.
But he was like joking about it.
Yes.
But you could tell under there was some real like, fuck you, man. Like, this is my last round of the day. I just want to play the game. I want to test for the regionals. You're playing this shit ass deck that I have to sit here and like, I know I can beat it. I just have to like go through with it. I'm going to be here for the whole 50 minutes playing against your deck. And what if you get that Saki card that you flip up and now I can't play the game?
Yeah.
It's just lame. Like, but hey, if there's stun players out there watching this, you're more than entitled to play the deck you want to play. Like we talked about Genesis format. You can play whatever you want now. Like, you know, maybe not in that format, but if you have the ability to play the deck you want, I encourage you to play it.
Yep.
Don't expect, though, that your choice of deck is not going to, you know, contribute to people's perception of you.
Yeah.
I think, especially when you're running your mouth that, like, I'm doing this just to be an ass. Okay, well, you're succeeding.
Yeah.
And these are the results. Like, these are the consequences of being an ass. Oh, it turns out no one fucking likes you. You're, like, not enjoyable to play the game with. You know? Do I feel bad that I have a distasteful opinion of you? Not really, because you came here to piss me off and you succeeded.
Yep.
So what do you want me to do?
You've now created this first impression.
Yeah.
Because it's different if it's the guy who does it all the time. You're like,
Sure.
okay, you're like a, but he's now becoming that. Like
Yeah.
you're a
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
asshole. You've accepted that you're this way.
Yes.
You have a group of friends that obviously love that and fucking hype you up for it because it's
You know what's funny? Turns out not so much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They started beefing.
But yeah, and it's just like, but yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what are you getting out of Yu-Gi-Oh? Are you like, you're not making friends? Like, that is the type of person that if he was playing any other deck, like, I would almost be like, yeah, let me kind of give you a little bit of tips or like, this is because he's obviously new.
Yeah, tip number 1, take a shower, man.
Yeah. But he's obviously new to Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's his first deck. If he was playing anything else, I'd be like, oh yeah, just next time this. Like again, it's the nice interaction at the end of the match.
Yeah.
But now it's like you're playing this shitty ass deck. I don't want to play you. No, I'm not gonna fucking like shake your hand. Like I'm not here to. Like, because the worst part was the things that he was saying to you, where it was like, "Oh, that was a close game."
Bro's telling me and to be fair, it was. I only lost game 3 because I kept forgetting I had a set imprint because people had started coming, and I'm starting to sweat.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have told people to back off a little bit, but it wasn't a close game, bro.
Inspector Borger on the field.
Again, play whatever you want, but hey, look, it's a thing where like there's some decks that are just annoying.
Yep.
And I think one of the shittiest things about it is, again, we're all praising this format, high skill expression, lots of interaction, and then you play a deck that says, I don't feel like it. I'm just going to hope I draw the cards that really hurt you, and then I'll banish your whole deck, and neither of us play the game, really. It's very, like, mindless deck to play.
Yes.
Josh Schmidt even loves the runic cards, but I guarantee you that would be a much more enjoyable experience than playing against, you know, shit ass guy at our fucking locals. But like, I think it's unfortunate too, because like, here's something I thought of when you're saying it, right? Like, what are you getting out of the game when you bring a deck like that? I think there's some people that turn to our card game for their social life.
Yep.
There's some people who turn to our card game and don't want any part of the social aspect of it. They're just coming to play the game. But I don't see those two things as like entirely different when you're playing a deck like that. Because compare it to like, you know, the guy at our locals who gets like pro coaching, very, very good player.
Yep.
A little bit of an abrasive guy, not friendly. He's not there to make friends.
No.
He's there to get wins so he can get data so he can perform well at bigger events.
Yes.
For what purpose? It's personal glory. That's fine.
That's your hustle.
I actually respect that a lot. Because I'm the same way.
Yep.
But I'm a little bit more friendly than that guy, I think.
But like that's what they're getting out of the game.
That's what I mean.
But they're not there to make friends. That's fine. But they're also like not expecting to make friends.
They're not there to make enemies either.
Yeah, they're not there to like.
Yeah. That's the thing, right? It's like those two play. Like somebody could show up play, like you said, playing Runic Stun every week because they think it's the best deck in the format and they want to compete really well. And I would respect that a lot more than
I'm here to waste everybody's time.
Yeah,
it's like, why would you say that out loud in a room of like 30 other people?
It's like honestly, like, and I'd hate to come across as just like, oh, deck lame, you know, like, oh, I'm mad about it, you know, but it's more like it's disrespectful.
Yes.
It's disrespectful not to play that deck. Like, if you want to play that deck, whatever. You, like, don't expect people to be happy about it, but hey, that's the game. But it's the attitude. It's the haha, you have to play against me. I'm playing something janky. It's like, okay, man, like, maybe this is the only Yu-Gi-Oh time I get in the week, and you're fucking making it miserable.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, you know, I was sitting beside you when you dipped out on that game against him, and part of me was just like, yeah, man, like, I wouldn't sit around for that either.
Well, especially
like, I'm glad it wasn't me.
I realized as we're talking about this, we did literally talk about this last podcast,
Yeah.
but it was on the actual podcast. It wasn't the Lost Files.
Oh shit.
But, yeah. Oh well. But like it was the last round. I'm I'm wasting my time, and I'm just gonna go and do something else. Like I'll go and talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
I'll go and
trades or something.
Or I'll go and maybe like be like, yeah, the guy who has the buy, or Sam, because he had the buy, and he's like, I'm like, do you want to play? Like just doing something else.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm not gonna sit here and get rage baited by a fucking kid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to do that. I'm not here to do that.
Dude, you got enough of that at work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I think, like, I guess for like viewers of this podcast, a lot of this podcast is us coming on and talking about like the specific characters we deal with at the local level.
Yeah.
Which, like, I want to make this very clear. There are some absolute like freaks at our locals, and I say that lovingly.
You say that lightly.
Yeah, respectfully.
There's some of these guys I fucking love, dude.
Yeah.
Like, they're not very good at the game. Some of them are not very social.
Nope.
But fuck, are they funny?
They're funny, and they're also like
They're harmless.
They're harmless. They're not. But then you have the people who are the freaks that have the fucking degenerate like field centers or the fucking, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you should be on a list for somewhere else. Like, this is not okay. Like, I get that like Yu-Gi-Oh people make fun of like a fucking gooner game, but like, dude, you're not helping the situation, and you look like a creep.
Yeah.
And like, you're not someone that I'm gonna make friends with.
No, yeah.
Well, and like then you can talk about your locals experience that you went to the a different store, and you said that like we have some characters at our store, but it's not near like they like it's bad. Like
I think I guess my takeaway from like playing elsewhere, even playing at like the YCS, playing at certain regionals, you weed out some of like what I consider to be like the fun characters, where it's like, this guy really loves link summoning. He's not very good at it, but fuck, he's a playmaker. You know, you lose some of that when you get to the higher levels, because like, you know what I think is awesome? When they have like a sneak preview event, and so the time gets pushed forward a bit, and those guys show up at the same 12:30 time because they just like they fucking don't know, and that's fine. But it's hilarious every time because they join late. It's like they're just there to play, which is like perfectly like explains the point you're trying to make. And not like, not everybody wants the same thing out of this game. Some people want to do very well and succeed at the highest level. That's fine. Some people have different approaches to that, and some people just want to play a couple games a weekend. They don't care if their placement in the tournament is low. They didn't come for prizing. They came to sing you a song about Blue Eyes White Dragon, right?
Or to
like,
yada lock you.
Yeah, like
Right.
That's what some people get out of the game, and that's all fine.
And I actually find that almost like commendable to them. I'm like, I love seeing that, where I'm like, you're just here to have fun. Yeah. And like I'm happy for you, man. Yeah. I hope you get your fun. There's some players where I'm like, don't do that. Don't don't play the fucking what is those cards? The spell cards you were talking about. They're like the stun.
Morganites?
Don't play that. But go have fun in a different way.
Yes, yeah. It's not fun for me.
But but like, I respect those players who come for like the 400th time to play the same deck and have lost for the 400th time in a row because they just want to have fun.
Snoozing at the table. It's so
funny. But you were saying about the store that you went to, the other store.
Yeah, no, the characters there were mostly like normal, like which the specific something.
No, you were just saying that like compared to our store, it's way more tamer.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Honestly, that's essentially it. Like,
yeah,
it was like interesting to just play like against people who were just like there to play and like do well and shoot the shit, and like there wasn't any of like choosing my words carefully.
Yeah.
The super like anal guys,
yes,
and the super like carefree guys. It was all kind of just in the middle.
Yeah.
One experience I did have there though, it's like heavy cope. Like, guy was playing Orchest, and the guy summoned Holy Sue on his turn, and he broke down, lost his shit. Was like, it's my turn. This is so dumb.
Oh, so the other player was playing Holy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was like, dude, you gotta chill. And then, actually, funny enough, the next round he matched into a Runic stun player, and he just left. He did the same thing you did. It's awesome.
Oh, that sucks.
No, I like some characters that are locals. Like, I've had similar experiences to the one you guys are sharing, obviously. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I think at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to communication. And we, as parts of this community, can't expect everybody's on the same level in terms of their ability to communicate. It's a matter of like accepting that, but also knowing like your rights sound crazy, but your access to information about the game. Yeah. I think that is important. Like you said, like when you guys first started playing, you started learning like the phases of play, the timing of effects and resolutions. Those things, just knowing them, make you better at the game because you know, like I remember for you was with Vanquish Soul specifically, where you're like, I have to remember to say like anything on res so that I can activate my Lupus to summon, or I can do my Rosin to pop, or
I had to learn that I could quick effect to the resolution of my card effect.
Yes,
because it's like, even though the card says I can only do each effect once, I can still chain to the resolution of the effect. Yeah. And that still counts as me using each effect once, not in the same chain. Right. And I had to learn that, like, I can summon Rosin, search from Rosin, and then on the resolution of that effect, I can then use his effect to pop. And I can keep going with, like, everything. Lupus, like, I can get Holy, like, the whole, like, one-turn combo where it's, like, use Holy Sue, summon Rosin, Rosin search, use Caesar Valius to switch out. Like, you can do all that before a game state resolves, essentially.
Yeah. And it's bullshit.
And I'm glad that Rosin got hit to 1.
I would just say, like, to listeners and to you guys too, like, it's important to not only hold yourself to that standard, but if your opponent is not, you have to enforce it. Yes. Obviously, there's friendly ways to do that. And there's unfriendly ways to do that. And, you know, if you're not sure, call the judge, whatever. But some guys will go, you know, I always go, okay, stand by me. We're in standby. We're in main phase. Yeah. But some guys just go, okay, activate, you know, their field spell. And you go, okay. And it's important to know that, too, because, you know, if a guy summons a Draco Tail, he goes, okay, Arthalion effect to target these two and bounce it back to hand. And this is where the soft cheating happens. Look at you, as if you're supposed to respond to this.
Because they didn't ask anything. Yeah, because you're like, you
knowing for what they have triggers that they have to resolve now. Yeah. So then you go, Bell. No, I'm chain blocking you. Sorry. So then you know 2, 3, and now they know you have Bell, right? Yep. Soft cheating. Also, don't reveal your Bell. You ask any other triggers. Oh yeah, this and this. Okay, Bell. Like, you know, Valor the Arthalion or whatever. But it's that kind of gamemanship that I think is like true skill expression, where it's like, okay, I know he has to do these things in sequence. That means I have these options. Not he has to do this, I have to do this. He has to win, I have to lose. Yeah. And you should have lost that game.
Well, I think it like
salt in the wound.
I think it also goes to, like, we talked about this last time, where it's like you can have people who are sharking who should know better. Like you are, and it's almost like you're sharking because you know that the person who you're playing against maybe doesn't have the game knowledge that you do. So you know you can bullshit your way into explaining a ruling, and unless you call a judge over and you explain it well enough, you're not going to know whether they're telling the truth or not. And
I'll fully admit that. I'm still learning a couple of these things. Yummy trigger effects on summon. Sometimes I get the timing wrong a little bit. That's and fun. People have tried to take advantage of that. And I just had to let that happen one time because by that point I'd missed the timing. But that was definitely a situation where I just...
Yes.
Someone just sort of skipped right past.
That's the thing too. That's one of those things where like you have to know the sequencing of something in order to... Because if someone, say, goes Raigeki and you chain out you go Snatchy, Quick Sync into Cookie so that you can book the two monsters, it's going to miss timing. You won't have an opportunity to activate that effect. There's ones like Talents and you chain, do the same thing. Now I get your Cookie, and I think I get to activate the effect. There's a weird ruling between TCG and OCG, I can't remember. But either way, there's things that you have to know so that you don't get sharp. Like, for example, there's a Mitsurugi player a couple weeks ago who attributed their Habakiri, who was on board, activated the effect to search and then summon itself back. That was responded to with a Bestial that then banished that Habakiri. And he goes, okay, well, I'll resolve my search. And little known fact about this card, it's actually going to come back. Because, it still resolves the thing. Now, that's not actually how that works.
No.
At the time, I said, hey, I don't think that's how that works. I was watching the game. He goes, no, it is. It is. It works that way. And I was just like, okay, this is not a game I'm playing in.
Yep.
So I'm not going to call a judge on this guy's behalf. I don't think that's how it works, man. And his opponent was just like, okay, sure. A few, effects later, a similar thing happens, which ended up being the decisive moment in the game. He summons back the Habakiri. Habakiri attacks for game. But before that, the opponent had chained Draco Tail Sting to banish the Habakiri again. Forgetting that by this guy's logic, it wouldn't summon back.
Yeah.
So then he loses the game. Which is messed up because that's not how that works. That guy probably shouldn't have actually lost the game. It's a very similar situation to yours.
Yep.
But there's only so much you can do as a spectator.
Yes.
And, I had a conversation with the guy who lost that game after that wasn't like, you should have won.
Yeah.
It was like...
You did it in a healthy and respectful way.
Yeah, I said...
You were communicating well.
I said, hey, man, I actually don't think that's how that chain resolves, but, I don't know, maybe ask the judge, because I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That seems similar to other plays that have happened to me, and that's not how they resolved. But also, when he activated Talents to look at your hand, fucking fuse your entire hand. Then he can send back one of your two spells that do the same thing.
Yeah.
He was like... dude, thanks. And it was a healthy conversation.
But what's crazy about that is that player is also a judge and should know better and was judging on your locals. And it's like, I don't think that guy should be judging if he doesn't know.
Well,
and I'm not saying they need to know everything.
No.
But
sure.
You should know how your own cards work.
Yes. And then that's another thing I wanted to say about when you brought up your instance with the game state, right?
Yep.
If you don't know, ask a judge.
Yep.
If that judge doesn't know, he should ask a head judge.
Yes.
You don't have that luxury at locals sometimes, but it is locals.
Yes.
Right? If it's an OTS event, there has to be a judge. So maybe there's something you can make a challenge or whatever. Regional, same thing. YCS, same thing. But if you're pretty confident that that's not how that effect works, make a stink about it.
Yeah.
Because at the local level, you go home, you go on the judge Facebook group and figure it out, and then message that guy and be like, hey, you're wrong. That's what I did. But and he was nice enough about it. He was like, yeah, I looked it up. My bad. That was a misplay. And it ultimately doesn't matter because it was a locals, and who cares? You lost one game. You probably should have won or whatever. But for a big event, these are things you're going to want to know, and it's better to be sure. Then don't let people just because they've been playing the game longer than you or they're more familiar with the card, impose their will.
Don't let them bulldoze over you
Yeah.
just because you don't know. And I think that's the lesson I've really learned is I need to just call it. If this happens again, I just got to call a judge.
Yeah.
And I just need to, there's no situation with that one where I could have called the judge with like, the guy just
Because you didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, it's just, it's just such a weird thing that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's always going to stem back to like, as parts of the community who are able to communicate, whether it's us or listeners or whatever, you kind of have to go above and beyond.
Yes.
Because if you're playing against someone who doesn't have that same ability, you become the voice for both people, and you have to ask opposed to be told what they're doing. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you have any other locals interactions you guys want to talk about?
No.
Yeah, I mean, like, we got characters, and I think there's some stories that we've gotten where people are bringing little mementos onto the field and like doing weird stuff with them for good luck, and I'm just like, that's whatever. It's just good. At that point, it's just kids being like, they're just kids.
Oh, that one. I thought you were
I'm
talking
just
about
like,
the Dark Magician.
well, that's weird too, but like that's a different kind of weird. Listen, it's just like, for me, I'm dealing with people like that every day with my students.
Sure.
And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this on a weekend. Like, this is not what I'm here to do.
I came here to play this game against adults. I can't believe I got to tell this guy he can't be acting this way. You know?
Yeah. And that's just who people are. And I think, and I think like advanced format is still something I'm going to keep playing and enjoying. I'm definitely intrigued by Genesis a lot more now because of like the stuff coming out of this last YCS where it was just like, this is going to be a really rough format for.
I think the one thing to remember about that though is that that's not reflective of what our locals experience is going to be.
That's a really good point.
Because obviously you guys have made some adjustments for regionals because that's a higher level event and you can expect to see more of that sort of thing reflected at that event. I do not expect to see that kind of shenanigans going on at our locals to a crazy degree. We'll see maybe a couple.
It's a really good point. No, it's because it's funny when like a YCS topping deck comes out and it's the deck that you play. You go, oh shit, that's the best way to play that deck. So you take the list bar for bar, word for word, you know, make your deck. You go to locals and you still lose. And you're like, well, what the heck? This is the best way to play the deck, is it not? And that's a whole conversation about net decking and all of that, right? But there's some things that work at a meta level because I know if I'm going to a tournament and I'm going to see 60 card piles, that there might be cards I want to put in just to combat those strategies alone that have no viability against what the dudes at our locals are playing. Fucking Blue Eyes still. Like, which is, there's no problem with that, but like it's like a little bit of the funniest thing is like during Snake Eyes format, the only person out of locals who played Snake Eyes was Andre, and so online it would doom and gloom and oh my god, these YCS results, it's all Snake Eyes, it's killing the game. And meanwhile I'm playing Mekanko against fucking Ice Barrier and I'm like, ooh, like, so much fun, you know. I'm like, I'm doing well with Ice Barrier and I'm like, this game's easy. And then it's like, oh, then Tenpai comes into the format and you're like, okay, I see how these like dominating decks can be a problem.
Well, I think because like the only reason I say that I'm worried is because it's happened to me at locals where twice,
of course,
where the same thing has happened where I've been like floodgated like that because of monsters on my field, and I'm like, okay, this is not like it's not like yours where I can get rid of this and I can somehow. I can choose to stay in this state of floodgate where it's like, no, you're done. Your game's over. Okay.
I guess it's one thing to be concerned about non-games through floodgates at that level. Like, to be fair, I did have 2 non-games at my locals the other day, which on a different level than what people at YCS experienced. But I think there is a concern. And obviously some people at our locals, there are a lot of people that are on some of the meta decks right now. But I just don't see... Like you said, it's different when you play like a net deck and you're not guaranteed the results.
Yeah, it reminds me kind of like the prizing conversation.
Yes.
Our pricing so bad. Dude, you've never even talked to locals. Like, this one's not for you, big dog. Like,
yeah.
You know, myself included. Like, you know, there's no reason for me to get upset that, you know, we're getting air fryers. And it's like, dude, I'd be so sick if I could win an event. Like,
I'm happy to get the packs. Hey,
yeah,
packs.
yeah.
Free cards.
But yeah, the pricing has changed and it's better now, whatever. But, yeah, there's some things that only apply to the highest level of players. But I think something like these floodgates in this format, it could be something that's concerning even at our level.
I think it'll just trickle down, right?
Yes.
You'll see people who are thinking like, oh, that's a viable strategy I could do. Like,
Yeah.
Because with that, yeah, you're seeing it at the highest level of play, but like that would work at our locals. Like that strategy is gonna win you games because it's the same thing with the Runic stun player, right? Yeah, you're not gonna see that playing like in the like competitive like the YCS. That deck's probably not gonna be the same as it is at the locals.
Yeah.
But that deck has gotten two. He's gotten two
too,
locals
like,
where he's gone a positive.
Yeah,
like he's 3-2, I think, and then 4-1 on another. It's like, like it's still gonna win games.
I'll meet him behind the freaking green onion cake, man. We'll talk later.
It is funny too. Like I love anytime someone net decks and just brings that deck to locals, and it gets blown the fuck out, and then they start complaining. Like I always think it's or like, oh, there's one where it's like, oh, did you see the list from the whatever event? Like, yeah, oh, he's on the Boral Sword Dragon or whatever the fuck. I'm like, yeah, dude, I watched the video. He said he never summoned it. Like, it's not a.
He just looks at the list. He doesn't actually listen to the guy.
Yeah,
like this card never really came up.
I'm like watching the video. Guy's like, no, I didn't summon it. I wouldn't play it again. The guy's like, yo, Boral Sword's great. I'm like, oh, dude, no, it's fucking not. But yeah, I think we'll call it there for this episode of the pod. Dan, Stefan, thank you for coming back and finishing this conversation. Yeah, I guess we'll hear from you guys soon.
Yeah,
we'll get some games in.
Yeah.
Good luck at your regionals.
Thank you, man. Next pod will be me with, I guess I don't give out trophies, some sort of deck box.
I'm excited to hear about it.
All right. Thanks for checking out the pod. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out all our matches and all the weird stuff we got going on. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.